I'm on the screen. We're good. Okay, yes. What the page? 228. Page 228 in the Milady textbook. All right. So, what are we going to be talking about? We're doing electric filing today, theory and demonstration, okay? If you have watched me live or ever seen anything that we talk about when it comes to electric filing, you know we're going to be on the raw egg today. Yes, raw egg. Do I have enough for everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Randy, you've done it, so in case I don't, 6. I got 6 or 7 eggs at least. We're going to be on the raw egg today, so don't be afraid. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to teach you how to e-file today, okay? Now, we are live on YouTube, and this will be available for replay for those of you that ever want to go back and rewatch whatever I'm saying. I will provide a link after class is over so that it's there for you guys to watch, all right? So, what we're going to talk about, first of all, the importance of learning electric filing for the nail technician. So, you guys notice that we're saying electric file, right? Try to get out of the habit, and I have a bad habit too, of saying drill. Where do we get drills from? Home Depot, the hardware store, craft stores sell them now, Lowe's, Ace Hardware. We do not use drills, which is very confusing because they call them drill bits. I'm like, y'all got to do pick a you know, something that's going to confuse you, right? Which one do you want to use? But in actuality, we call these electric files in a professional setting, okay? Now, we're also going to talk about what electric file, the parts of electric files, the handpiece, the body, all of these different aspects of electric files that you guys need to know about in order to, A, be a good nail technician and pass your state board, okay? Pass your state board. We're going to compare machine features, okay? There's some features that you may want to have that you've never thought about, okay? When you go on Amazon and buy these e-files, which is short for electric file, you don't really pay attention to what their features are. I bet you do when you buy a car, right? You want to know, does it have, you know, GPS and all of that stuff? You want to do the same thing. These e-files are getting real fancy these days, okay? We're also going to talk about different bits. All right, some of y'all got a ton of bits and you're not even really sure what they're for, right? Or what you could be using them for. E-files will make your life very, very, very easy when it comes to all that hand filing and stuff, okay? Now, you guys need to know how to hand file, and you have been hand filing in class. Some of you have already used an e-file, but electric filing will make your life a whole lot easier, okay? The next thing we're going to talk about is I'm going to demonstrate some techniques, and then we are going to talk about electric filing for pedicures, okay? One of my students texted me yesterday on Instagram. She was like, what do you think about pedicure bits? I was like, you don't remember in class? Like, we literally talked about that in class. Like, they are my favorite thing to have when you're e-filing, because how you gonna get in between those toes? You got clients, I don't know about y'all, if you've got a callus on maybe the side, in between a toe or somewhere on the side of a toe or in the ball of your foot, it's hard to get that foot pedal in the ball of someone's foot that has high arches. I'm one of those people that have high arches. I cannot get in between. I've got to always take a pumice stone and get in between this part of my foot, the ball. So if you've got an e-file bit, you can get in between toes, and you guys probably like, in between toes? Yes, in between toes. Some people have callus in between their toes and things of that nature. And plus, you just want to exfoliate sometimes in between the toes. And then we'll talk about troubleshooting. Anybody, and I get this all the time too, because you know I have my own e-file. And folks will call me or email me and they're like, it's not working. And I'm like, what you mean? It's brand new. I'm like, did you plug it in? Charge it? You know, it's portable. You got to charge it. And then they're like, oh, they think sometimes it sits in a box for a while. The battery needs to be charged, okay? So, things of troubleshooting that you may need to know about e-files and what happens or what could happen if they stop working. And then we'll talk about some safety tips that you need to know, because you can really hurt someone or yourself with an electric file, okay? I've cut myself plenty of times, all right? Now, Why do you need to know about electric filing? Y'all know it's an interactive classroom. Somebody talk to me. Why do you need to know this information? Because you don't have to use an e-file, do you?
No, not necessarily.
Right. This is more of an add-on type of skill. But I can tell you this. I don't know too many. Now I hear nail techs all the time. They're like, hand filed only. Y'all ever see that? Like hashtag hand file only. I'm like, ooh, girl, your career is gonna be really short. Really short. Okay. For those of you that have been doing this a while, maybe you notice you get shoulder pain. Maybe you even get neck pains, wrist pain. Carpal tunnel is a big problem in our industry. Okay. So you want to learn this skill. There are some nail technicians that don't hand file anything but the shape, which that's me. I don't do any hand filing outside of the shaping of the nail. Everything else is e-file. And again, it is a skill that you guys should know as a nail technician. You want your doctor to be well versed in everything that they do. We are nail technicians, we need to as well. All right, so e-filing, electric file, it's a useful tool. All right, it does require additional training. It's going to save you time. Okay, it's going to allow you to shape nails more consistently. What do I mean by that? Shaping nails more consistently.
Make sure you have like a square looks like the same shape.
All the way through from pinky to thumb, thumb to pinky, right? So what if you sculpted a nail? Let's just say you sculpt, and we've all in here except for Joe have done this, right? Sculpted nails, and you've got that deep C curve, right? But then you notice that your C curve is a little thicker on one nail versus another nail. How do you even get in there to thin that out? How can you can't do that with a hand file. So an e-file, if you got a nice rounded bit, you can go underneath the C curve, bring it up a little bit, make the illusion that all those nails are consistent throughout. Okay, you cannot do that with a hand file. All right, it's going to help you refine your work. You can do a lot with a hand file, but going around the cuticle area it's kind of difficult without cutting the client, right? And if you just want to get in there and really just get really tight into those cuticles and make sure that it's nice and clean, an e-file is going to give you the opportunity to do that. Okay, now again, it will help with your with wrist issues. If you're doing this all day long, it's annoying. All right, she don't want to be quiet at all. She just want to be seen. She just want us to hear her. You can't be quiet and open it. You got to be loud and open it. Shh. That's because she got them headphones on full blast. She can't even hear herself.
I ain't even got in the plan no more.
Well, you hear that noise. You hear that noise. All right. Now, where are you going to get the training that you need to get more well versed in e-files? Private classes, right? You're going to do it in here, number one. And then when more advanced, you're going to do private workshops, which can be done online. A lot of them can be done online. And then also when you go to the shows, the trade shows, which most of us are going, right?
Trade shows?
Yeah, we're going to. You missed a few days, so we've been talking about going to the Premier Orlando show, which is in June, May 31st. June 1st and 2nd. Yeah, May 31st through the 2nd of June. Okay, that is in Orlando. They're going to have all types of classes, advanced classes on how to do all these things. Okay, my very first introduction to bits outside of sanding bands was at the Premier Orlando show. Atwood Industries had a booth there, which is one of the companies that I really, really highly recommend to get your bits from. Atwood Industries. They had a booth where they had like 70 different types of bits, and I'm like, my world exploded. Like my head was like, and what do you do with that? And what do you do with this? And because all I had ever seen was a sanding band, right? Because that's all we ever see. Okay, so it will open up your eyes when you start going to these shows. Thank you so much for the gift, y'all. All right, so taking these trade shows also on the internet. Okay, these manufacturers, like for instance the one I just mentioned, Atwood Industries. If you go to their websites, they have free training on their website on how to use the bits that they sell. Okay? So if you really care about your profession, you will do these things. Okay? Don't be that nail tech that's like, what is that? I've never seen that before. What you mean? Okay, well, don't use it on me, because they'll be the ones that'll buy it because they saw it on YouTube, and then they want to buy it on Amazon, and they never learned how to use it. Okay, so make sure, and then learning how to use these things safely is even more important, because once you cut a client, what happens? Once they start bleeding, okay, now I had this conversation with one of my good nail tech friends today, and she was like, well, I just keep going. Not today, this weekend. She's like, I just do my best and try to stop the bleeding and keep going. I'm like, and what if that client had something that you can't wash off with soap and water? So you're just going to take that risk? So the goal is not to cut them at all, okay? And these days we have bits that are safety bits that will prevent you from cutting the client at all. I don't use bits 90% of the time. I do not use a bit that you can cut the client with. You'd have to really try hard. Okay, so they're out there, but you also need training on how to use them. Okay, now let's talk about different electric files, because there are several different types. Can anybody name the different types of electric files we have? I mean, there's one right there. So this one in particular is a tabletop, right? It sits on it's not portable. It's not like this where I can take it with me and put it in my pocket and do nails outside on the curb, right? You have to have a plug. So there's different types of e-files out there, okay? So we're going to talk about those different ones and which one might be best for you, okay? So first and foremost, let's talk about what they actually are. So they are micro motor machines, okay? E-files that are used in the salon are micro motor machines. What other types because we said that, you can buy drills at Lowe's, right? Or Home Depot or a hardware store or a craft store. How many of you guys have ever seen those drills, okay, that hang from they put them up, they put a little hole in their table, and it's a little stick that looks like a little pitchfork, and they hang this drill from it, and it's got a long cord, and they e-file, and it's got a pedal, like a car. Please do not, I repeat, do not use those on clients. My very first drill was a Dremel drill. I bought it from Lowe's, and it said Dremel on it. And I almost killed myself with that thing, okay? And and they don't make those for nails, okay? Our e-files have micro motors in them, okay? That means that they are not so powerful that they can take your entire finger off with an accidental press of the pedal, okay? Now, pedals are great. They are great. I love having a pedal on an e-file, but let it be for nails and not for drilling holes in the wall. Okay.
They look like the same?
They are exactly the same. They just have a sticker. You can peeled sticker off, and you can go buy one of the Mr. Johnny sells them in his nail supply. I'm gonna show you what they look like in a second. I'll show you exactly what they look like. But if for those of you that have your phone out, you can Google Dremel, D-R-E-M-E-L, and I promise you have seen a nail file in a salon that looks exactly like it without the word Dremel on it. Okay. Those are not for use on human beings, okay? Now, e-files that we use in the salon have smaller motors. They're called micro motors, all right? Now, where is the motor located? Okay? Where's the motor located? Sorry? The handpiece. The motor is, in this particular case, is in the handpiece, okay? And that means that what makes it spin, think about your motor in your car, okay? We're gonna use a car reference a lot today. The motor in your car you know, you're like, you feel like, okay, well, what the wheels are what makes it go. No, the motor. You can have wheels and the motor ain't, and a motor gone and it's not going to move, right? So your motor is inside of here. So this part of your handpiece is the most of your e-file is the most important part, and the most expensive part. I can replace this right here. It's all this is basically where the power comes from. Okay. I can plug this into another e-file that takes this right here, right? So this is the most important part of your e-file, the part that has the most will vibrate. It will vibrate, and if it's a really cheap one, if you guys have ever used a really cheap e-file, okay, and we've got some over there, would you mind grabbing one so I can show them? They should be charged. And I bought these because let me just tell y'all, when I first opened my school, I had to have a lot of equipment in order for them to even say I could be open. So there's a lot of things that I bought just so that I could say I had them, so they would approve the school to be open so I could start taking, you know, clients, students. So they were like, you got to have, you know, 5 e-files. And I was like, who's going to buy 5 e-files? And I ain't got a single student yet. So I got these from Mr. Johnny. They are $10, I think. They are cordless. Okay, you can charge them. But these don't have any features whatsoever. You turn it on, vibrates. I mean, it vibrates. Okay. It does not have any speed settings. It's either. So I don't know how fast it's going, how slow it's going. None of that stuff. There's no reverse. There's no nothing. And let's be honest. There's just a sticker on here that just says cordless nail tool pin drill. You can also Google engraver and this same thing pops up. And you know what an engraver is, right? It just digs down until you write your name on. Same exact tool. So this, in other words, I've seen a lot. I know a lot of nail techs that used it. They used it their whole career. Please, we have evolved. We have grown. We are no longer using these types of things. Okay. So with that being said, I bought a bunch of them. We have them as backup. I like to keep these. I will tell you, I do like to keep one of these if I'm doing pedicures in my pocket, my little fanny pack or whatever, because you can use this on the bottom of someone's foot easily, because you do need to be going at a high speed when you're using it on the foot. But we'll get to that in a minute. So you can find e-file or file-like things just about anywhere, okay? But now that you're learning this, you guys should be choosing the right things to use, okay? So with that being said, there's tons of different, so this part, okay, so we got our handpiece, the motor's in there, right? This part is the most replaceable, easier, but this is going to be where your transformer. Anybody ever seen back in the day? Most of the time we don't see this that often, but it used to be when you plug something up, there was this big box that you plugged into the wall. That's the transformer. That's where, and I'm not an electrician, please believe, okay? But that's where the power comes through. It transforms it into, makes it so that it's at the right wattage to make this thing turn without blowing up, okay? So this, in this case, because this is a portable, rechargeable e-file, the transformer is located inside here. Okay, and this just charges. Now again, this is the cheapest part of the e-file, but you do need it in order to make it work. All right, so there's different brands out there. Some of y'all name some brands for me. Melody Susie, that's everybody's favorite because you can get it on Amazon pretty cheap, right? And I'm not gonna knock any brands. I might, but in general, I'm not gonna knock any brands. Okay, what's another brand? Mary Negron School of Nails, right? My e-file, right? But even mine is a beginner e-file. Okay. Medicool, which this is a Medicool. This is a Medicool. Okay. What else? Who? I don't know that one. Some indie brand. What are some bigger brands, y'all? Kiara Sky. Young Nails has one. Koopa. We got people on the live saying Koopa. They're some of the most expensive ones. Okay, they can get very expensive. All right. Why do you think, what part of the e-file would cause it to be very expensive? We just said the most. the handpiece, right? So when you're buying an e-file, y'all stop being brand whores, okay? Stop buying things because they're pink or because, look, somebody back there giggling because she asked me, she sent me, I'm not gonna tell her. Yeah, I am. She sent me a text one day. This was a long time ago, before when she was a new student. Young Nails was doing this like bundle deal where they had the like diamond encrusted light, they had the diamond encrusted lamp, and they had the hand. Did they have an e-file that had diamonds all over? I don't know. It was a bundle, right? She was like, Miss Mary, should I buy this? I was like, how you gonna disinfect all them diamonds? And I said, it's cute, but you gonna spray all that all over your good, pretty fake diamonds? Is gonna turn them colors and make it ugly? I mean, I get it. You want to be cute, right? Y'all gonna get over that.
Yeah, real quick.
Y'all gonna get over that one day. Well, very soon. When you have to start buying, when polish and choices of glitter and things of that stuff matters more than you and your hand aching from e-filing all day long matters to you more than a glittery e-file, you will stop looking at that kind of stuff. Because I will tell you that of all the e-files that I have ever owned, this is the best e-file I have ever owned, and it still works, and I've had it for nearly 15 years. More than that. This is a Medicool. And this, I got two of them. One of them, because I upgraded, because one of them was a 25K, and we'll get to what that means, to a 35K. Maybe 30K. 20K to 30K, right? The reason I love this e-file, okay, now when I went to the nail supply yesterday, the one that I took all y'all to, the seniors. I went yesterday. Well, I went to get my lashes done, honey, which I went to get my lashes done, but I always make a trip to get. I bought hands too. They didn't have soft hand. They ain't got soft hand Sally no more, y'all. We got back to stiff hand Stella. Sorry. They said we ain't got them no more. Supplier stopped sending them. But anyhow, if you are shopping for an e-file, please go there. Okay? Why do I say that? Because y'all will buy anything that you see other people using, or you will buy it because it's pretty. You need to put your hands on it. You need to hold it. You need to turn it on and feel it. Feel the vibrations. Okay? Because, and some of y'all have little tiny little dainty hands. Some of you have big old hands. You know who you are. I have one big hand, one little one. So, can y'all see the difference in these two? Where's the other one? The other one is the better handle. This is my old one. Sorry, Shayla has to run. The good thing about it is tomorrow she gets to teach this and everything will be up here for her already. Okay? So this is my older one. This is the 20K. Okay? And I'm going to show you guys the difference in the hand pieces. Okay?
Oh yeah, I need this.
That right there is the Cadillac hand piece. Okay? And you'll notice the difference in the transformers too. Okay? This is the one. Okay? You see how sleek and slim this one is? Let me see. Let me put it on the screen. Let me put it on my overhead screen here. All right. See how slim that is compared to even these two here?
The part
where your hand rests. You want this to feel good in your hand, because you are holding this with each client at least 30 minutes or more each client. You spend more time filing than you do anything else, more than likely, once you get good, because you want to refine everything. This one, it's weighted in the back, so it holds, it just sits in your hand really nicely, like a pen. Feels like a pen, okay? A big pen, but a pen. Whereas one that's bigger, this is good for beginners. See how this one's a beginner e-file, my e-file, and then as we go along, we're talking about a different set of prices here. Yesterday, when I was in the nail supply, they had these two e-files. The same, they still make them, okay? They had these two e-files, and the hand piece alone, if you needed to replace this, is $189. Just the hand piece. The box, $80. Okay, because you may drop the box in the handpiece. I tell you what, before I buy another whole new e-file, I would keep this and just try to find me another box that will fit this piece, because it'll fit another e-file. Let's be real. Okay, this e-file was over $300. Jesus, it still works, thank God. It works to this day, and I love it. Okay, I absolutely love it. Now, they do have now, which I have gotten a lot of these for you guys. I've bought a few of these for you as well. Are these, which I really love too. Okay, these are just a handpiece e-file. They cost $40. Let me put it on the screen too. Okay, I got this on you know where I got it from. T-Mobile. I got it from T-Mobile. But they all come from there. Y'all be for real. Everything you buy on Amazon came straight from China. Okay, let's be for real. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Also, this e-file right here, just so y'all know, this Medicool is a Valentino e-file. Exact same e-file. Look it up. Look at the picture. Even got the diamonds around the bottom here.
I have a Kia Skyline and it has the same.
Listen, I don't know if I've talked to y'all about branding and how manufacturing works. I know y'all have been on the TikTok since the tariffs and everything happened, and how the Chinese people have been telling about them Birkin bags. Have y'all heard about that? Yeah. Them $40,000 Birkin bags. Everybody's like, oh, I got a Birkin. You know, Cardi B bought a Birkin for waiting list $40,000 for a Birkin. They were like, oh, y'all want to know the truth? We make them right. They don't come from Italy. We make them right here in China. They cost $1,000 to make, with the good leather, the good string, the good this, the good that, and then we send it to Italy, where they put "Made in Italy" on the tag, and then y'all dummies buy it and go crazy over it. That's what they said, literally. Y'all dummies buy it because they're mad about the tariffs, and I don't blame them. They should be mad, but they need to get up off them tariffs they're putting on us. But anyway, I'm not gonna go there. So all this stuff comes from China. Okay. And this one, I really love this. I really do. I'm not going to lie to you. Let me put it on the screen again. So this one it's an e-file. The whole thing. You plug it up right there, charge it up. Now it goes up to $35K. Now I will tell you this. There's Brad. That's our client. I will tell you that Shayla's going to take care of him, aren't you, Shayla? Just tell him where he's going to sit. Hey, Brad, how did I know that was you? Because I was like, but his name is Brad Williams. But you signed up as Sir Brad.
Well, who else will be fabulous?
Okay, y'all, this is my friend Brad. As he is supporting us by getting a manicure today. So Shayla's going to talk to one of the students, decide who's going to set up and do that for him. Okay, but y'all focus on me. Don't focus on fabulous Brad, because he is fabulous. Okay, all right. So this e-file has everything in one spot. Everything. Okay, we can plug it. We can charge it here. We got our power button. We've got our reverse. We got everything. We're going to talk about those features. But this is only $40. I will say this. If you wanted to do a cut down, anybody ever done a cut down before, where you're trying to shorten nails that are really long, or you need a lot of power, okay? You don't want your e-file to stop on you. And even at full speed here, you get a little bit of, it's not as powerful as you may want it to be. Okay. And we're going to talk about how you know and that's where these more expensive e-files come in. They have that power behind it, but we're not quite there yet. So those are the different types of e-files. Okay. And then you've got those tabletop ones. And does anybody have a tabletop e-file that you have to plug in and leave on the table? Most people don't even have those anymore. Most people don't even use those anymore. But if you have one, only difference between it is you can't move it. And you've got to plug it in and leave it. I mean, you can move it, but you just want to leave it on the table. You don't want to be taking it places. So portable e-files are, the bee's knees. All right. All right. Everybody understand that. Here's the thing. Buy what you can afford. You will upgrade. Day before yesterday, y'all know I took a motorcycle course last weekend, right? So y'all know what I bought yesterday. Yes. Okay. They was trying to get me to buy a $50,000 motorcycle. They were like, you're going to outgrow this little one. I was like, first of all, I'm just starting. Y'all not about to make me get on no crotch rocket or no, it's a regular motorcycle. Okay. It is a Harley Davidson, but it is a very low cool, chill motorcycle. It's fly as hell now. It's badass, but it's the cheapest one they make. And they were like, well, you're going to grow out of it. I said, let me grow out of it. I don't want to grow into it. I want to grow out of it. Okay. So don't go out. And then I didn't want to have a $400 payment. I wanted a $150 payment every month. And that's what I got. So y'all make sure y'all make y'all payment so I can pay for that bike. Okay. That I'm going to be riding around in my neighborhood for the next 6 months because I'm scared. We're going to learn it first. We're going to start. That's what y'all need to do. Stay within your budget. You will upgrade when you can. Okay. None of y'all are out here making $1,000 a day. I don't know. Well, maybe you are. But when you get to that point, upgrade. Get you a nicer e-file. Okay. You can work. You can start with something like this. Please don't. Get you something like this. Okay.
You said,
Get you that. $40. I think I bought it on Temu for $28. But y'all know the tariff just went up. I don't know. It might be.
you can find good ones on like
Yeah,
Amazon.
you can. Yes. There are certain things that I will tell you when you're beginning. Do it. Do it. But and make sure you have this training. Don't go buying it now. You'll know what to buy and what not to buy. You know not to buy this, okay, for the reasons that I'm about to tell you.
Does the guy at the store have?
I bought my first one. This pink one right here was the first one I bought. He had them. But you can get this on Amazon for $35. Same one. Okay, I bought 3 more, a black one, a green one on Temu for $28. They just come from the same place. People charge different prices because they think you don't know what you're doing, right? But you can get these as low as $30 on Amazon. Okay, and I like these. Just the only drawback was when we kind of got to the cutting down phase, it was like, oh, this is not really strong enough. It was pushing it.
Have you used the Melody Susie one?
I have. We've got some Melody Susies over there. Melody Susie they have their cheaper lines and then they have better ones. We're gonna get to the warranties and things like that in a minute.
Everybody else says it's great, but
I've just never had good luck with the Melody Susie one we got back there. You've got to like hold the cord a certain way for it to work. Like the cord, just like it, you got to wrap the cord around it to make it work. It's like pull on it a certain way. So it really just depends. Like I said, e-files nowadays are going to be one of the cheaper things you have to buy. Okay, when you first starting out. But when you get good and you want to have a top of the line road glide motorcycle that's 50 grand. Hopefully you've been riding for a while. Hopefully you are also, been working for a while and retired like most of them old men that ride them bikes and you can afford it. Okay. They were trying to put me in a road glide. I said, I am not that old. The ones that like this and they got the full TV in the front and all that. Now they're nice and all, but I'm trying to be cool on my bike. I want to look hot. I want to put on a leather jacket and some boots and look good. Anyhow, all right. Everybody got that when it comes to e-files. Any questions? But so far, we're getting there. Any questions? Buy what you can afford. Okay. Now, let's see. Someone said, "Oh my God, I'm literally going through with with my Melody Susie. Stopped working in the middle of my application." That's another thing I want to bring up. Always have a backup e-file, or you gonna listen when you get ready to do a takedown or a cut removal. You're gonna be crying because you gotta file for your life to get that client's nails off, or they gotta soak for an hour because your e-file broke down on you. So even if you have a really nice one, keep one of these charged and in the drawer. Okay, I like to have one for my pedicures, one for my hands and all that stuff too. Okay, but I've collected, I got so much nail stuff. I've been collecting them for so many years. I mean, you'll get there. Trust me, you'll get there. All right.
The updated price for the medical is
$270.
$271 for 30K.
But that's a desktop. Look up this one. They still make this one. Go on the Medicool website and get the portable one. But I will tell y'all, if you really want to invest in one that's still a beginner price that maybe you can afford and works really good, a Medicool. Okay. 35. Don't get a 20K. Get a 30 something that's powerful. We'll get to that in a minute. $349. I was about to say. And they do have them at that nail supply place that we went. And remember, if you spend more than $200 there, you get 5% off. And then when you get up higher, they give you percentage off. Okay. Yes, dear. The Medicool.
No,
And
the-
oh, Tran Nail Design. Tran
Link in the chat.
Tran Nail Design. They do have an online website too, Tran Nail Design. And I think it's Trans, but I'm not sure. I don't want to offend nobody. Tran Nail Designs. You know, you got to be careful what you say when you're on live.
Period.
They be like, oh, it's Trans Nail Design. They're like, what? Block, hate speech. Like, what? Sorry, TikTok. I'm just joking. All right. All right. Okay, and is it blingy? Is it pink? No, it does have diamonds on the handle. But other than that, see, this one's got an LCD screen on it where you know how fast it's going. Now it'll tell you how fast it's going. Whereas this one, the older one, no, you don't know how fast. You kind of gotta, you gotta know it's got something on the knob, but you can't see how fast it's going. So you just gotta feel of it. Okay, so that's the thing. All right, moving right along. So on the screen here we have something called revolutions per minute. Revolutions per minute. What does that mean? RPM. Revolutions per minute. What does that mean? How many times the e-file or the bit spins in 1 minute. Okay, so it's kind of like on a car. We got miles per hour. In this case, we got revolutions per minute. Okay, so when you look at this number that's on this LCD screen, and it says, if I turn it on and it says 3, is it going? How many times is it going per minute? 3 times per minute.
3,000.
3,000. So the number 1, that means it's going 1,000 times in a circle in 1 minute when you've got it set to 1, which is the lowest setting. Okay. Now, how many of y'all can file like this 1,000 times in a minute? Should we test it?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna make one of y'all was gonna say, yeah, I can, but you nailed me. You know, I was gonna say, I can. And I was gonna make her do it live on the internet. That's very fast still, okay? So, I say that to say, because a roomie, she's on our Saturday class. She texted me in the group this weekend, and she said, Miss Mary, I started doing what you said and started buffing the nails instead of using an e-file on the nail plate, sanding band on the nail plate. And I've had some clients complain that their nails lifting. Okay, so I told my response to her was, I can't answer why it's doing it. I've got to see what you're doing. So I told her, I said, I'm gonna make you show me your process, and I promise you there's gonna be something there in the prep that's an issue. Okay, but I say that to say none of you should be using an e-file on the natural nail plate or with a sanding band. Okay, I know you see it all the time. They take the sanding band and they ring on the natural nail to get ready to put the nail on because they want to rough it up to get it prepared for the acrylic so it will stick, right? You do not have to do that. And think about how many times that e-file is going in a circle on that client's nail plate, just going over it a couple times. You literally have no nail plate left by the time you're done. Okay, so when she gets to the before she polishes, then she can do the wax. Will you turn the heat down on it, because I got it turned all the way up, so that'll be ready for her. So you want to, so I asked her, she said, well, what's the alternative to a sanding band? Because when you do get accustomed to using an e-file, you will upgrade and start saying, okay, I don't want to buff anymore. You don't have to. You want to use everything with an e-file, right? You've gotten to that stage. You'll want to use a different type of bit, okay? A very fine diamond bit, okay? We'll get to bits in a minute, but that's what I suggested her. I said, well, don't use a sanding band ever, because a sanding band is a file, right? It is a file on a circular bit. A diamond bit is very, very fine, and you can actually use that on a client's skin, okay, to take down callus on the feet and things like that. So again, this will take training. And I will show you guys these different bits. I will even show you how you do it on my own finger, because good Lord knows my nails have grown out and they need the cuticles pushed back and a little bit of prep done, because I'm taking these off this week. Okay, so I will show you guys what you can do instead of actually using sanding bands. So RPMs, that's the speed times per minute. Okay, that your machine's gonna vary in how fast it can go. Right, I just told you this one is a 20K. That means the highest speed it goes is 20,000 revolutions per minute. Then we've got this one that goes 30K, okay? And then mine goes 35, all right? Now keep in mind, you should never have to go that high, all right? But why would you want it to have the power to go that high? Why would you want a 20 versus a 30? I know y'all are I bought one of them gnat killers. It's over there. And that gnat been flying around all morning. It's a little zapper over there that I bought from Sam's the other day. It ain't zapping nothing. There's one still alive. He refused to fly over there. Why would you want a 20 versus a 30?
Because it's powerful.
Right. So that's like asking, why would I want a Toyota Camry, no shade to anybody that drives a Toyota Camry, versus a Porsche Carrera or a Porsche 911? They're both cars. They both go 50 miles an hour. But one can get to 100 way faster and way quicker and with much more power than the other. Or the other might not even be able to do it, right? So we're going to always work somewhere in between 0 to 35. Nowadays, you're not even going to find an e-file that's less than 35 if it's, a decent e-file. All right. I haven't seen any that go higher than that, but I know there's some out there. I just haven't used it. All right. Leslie said the one that broke from Max Estrada, that it was 40, but I don't believe that. All right. So 0 to 35, we're going to work somewhere in the middle. So think about when you're driving, right? Your car, miles per hour, it says that it goes from 0 to 150, something like that, sometimes 200. But do you ever go that fast? Some of y'all probably do. Do you ever go that fast? No, right? I'm scared. You're going to stay somewhere in that middle range, right? Because if you do go that fast, what can happen if your car doesn't have a whole lot of power? It's going to blow that motor up. It's going to blow up, okay? So we never want to, for instance, I told y'all this one, you can take it all the way up to 35 and you can feel, and when you're doing like a cut down, and it might stop on you. So if you keep trying to use it at a high speed and you're pushing it on the limits, it's going to blow the motor and stop working on it, okay? So we want to purchase e-files that have a lot of power, although we're not going to use it at full capacity, so that we can do things that require us to use a lot of power, okay? Without blowing them up. Everybody understand that, what RPMs are, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is when I say power, we're talking about the word torque, okay? Torque is the power of a machine or its ability to keep turning even though you are applying pressure, okay, during filing. So that's what I was talking about when you're doing like a cut down and you're trying to take a long nail and make it short without having to clip it, right? You need to have a lot of power and a lot of torque in that e-file so that it won't stop on you, okay? You don't want it to stop working on you. So your speed is directly related to the strength or the power of the machine, okay? How fast you can go without it stopping. So keep this in mind. Higher torque means you've got more power at a low speed. So let's think about that real quick. If I take this e-file and I turn it on 1, would I be able to file on this nail without it stopping? Probably not, because it's a baby e-file and it don't have a lot of power, right? But if let's just not say 1, because almost all of them will stop at 1. But let's just say at 10, okay, 10 RPMs, which is where you should kind of stay when you're e-filing, like trying to take off acrylic or something like that. If you're at like 10, 11, you're filing. With this e-file, it might stop on you because it's not a lot of power behind it, especially if I'm trying to remove a lot of acrylic. So if I've got a more powerful, a much better, more expensive, better machine, I can put it on 10 and I might be able to cut down a nail with it because it's got power behind it. It's like the horsepower behind a Mustang versus a little tiny Pinto, tiny little Jeep beep beep, okay? So, higher torque, you get more power at a lower speed. Now, if you have low torque or low power, that means you're gonna have to work at a high speed to get things done. Like this, I might have to turn this all the way up to 25 just to be able to do a regular shaping job, okay? And this probably will die eventually. You keep running it really, really, really hard, a lot, all the time, it's probably you're gonna end up running through these forever, okay? So keep that in mind. So if your machine slows down or stops, you might be at too low of a speed, right? That makes you want to crank it up. Okay, so you need a machine that can handle being at a lower speed when you're doing, especially, why would you want your e-file to be at a lower speed when you're doing certain things? Or what kind of things do you want to be at a low speed? On the natural nail, if you're using the right kind of bit, right? What else? Around the cuticle area, all right? If for some reason you have a client that has a callus or something that you're trying to kind of take down and you're doing it on the skin, you want to be careful, okay? You want to be very careful, okay? So you want that to be able to still work, but at a low speed and not stop on you, all right? So for enhancement products, meaning acrylics and gels, you want to have some power behind your machine at higher speeds. Everybody got that? Everybody understand what torque and power is? All right. Now, oops, went too far. Now let's talk about different features that you are going to want to have when you start looking for your e-file, okay? First of all, boom, there's mine. All right. You want to talk about what you need. You want to think about what you need, all right? What are your wants? What are your needs? I know your wants, you want it to be, maybe you can find, I think you can maybe find this in pink. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
If they have it in pink, buy it in pink. But make sure it does everything that it's supposed to do, right? Okay, because there are e-files out here that have bling on them and they're pink or they're white or they're whatever color you want. But so evaluate what's more important to you. First of all, your wants, your needs, and mainly your budget. Okay, what can you afford at the moment? Now, for both enhanced, what are you doing? Are you a nail tech that only works on natural nails? There's lots of those types of nail techs out there that only do manicures, or maybe they work with just men and they're only working on the natural nail, or I mean, you can't even say that nowadays. Some of them want a little overlay or acrylic or some gel on there. But look, Brad said me, right? So keep that in mind. What are you doing? Are you a pedicurist? If you are a pedicurist and you only do pedicures, you're going to want a file, an e-file that is very strong, because you will have to be going at high speeds to remove callus from the nails, okay? We'll get to those bits and everything in a minute. Now, so what's another feature that we want to look for? Forward and reverse, right? So now I want you guys to remember this, because I see y'all do it with my e-files all the time, and I'd be like, then I have to call you out. All right, you'd be saying, Miss Mary embarrassed me. No, I didn't. I told you not to do it. When you are driving your car and you need to back up, do you just throw it in reverse? Or do you slow down or brake? You got to brake and then put it in reverse. Please do that with my e-files. Please do that with your e-files. Because if you're just flipping this switch, because it's right here, flip, 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 and going from forward to reverse instead of turning the e-file off, then putting it in reverse, and then turning it back on, you are going to, your e-file is not going to survive for very long. Yes.
Could you pause it?
If yours has that feature to pause it, yours has a pause feature, you can pause as long as it's stopped. You don't want the e-file to ever just be going, you're going to throw out the transmission of your car and you're going to be mad. Same thing when you spend a whole lot of money on an e-file and it stops working on you because you've basically thrown out the motor. You've killed it. Okay. So make sure that you stop or pause, because pause would be the same as stop, right? Basically, you don't have to turn it off. All right. And then turn it in reverse. Now, why do you need reverse? Oh, so you selfish. You only care about yourself.
When you're going the opposite way, like for cuticle.
So both of the answers, two things can be right at the same time, right? So when you wanted to go in reverse when you are doing your own nails, right? Because some of y'all are ambidextrous and you can work on both hands. That's why I'm gel-X on this hand, acrylic on the other half the time if I'm doing, acrylic anyway, or sculpting. This young lady here, she has mastered it. She can do both hands, okay? But e-filing on your own hand without having a reverse feature is like writing with your left hand. It's literally almost impossible, okay? It's very difficult to do. So you would want to put your e-file in reverse because the way our brains work, it mirrors each other, okay? And when you look in the mirror, you'll notice you hold up something, it's not written it will look flipped, okay? Or it'll look flipped anyway. So you have to flip it so that your brain can understand to try to do it the same way your other hand does it. So that's why you would put it in reverse. All right. Now, what's the reason why you would put it in reverse on a client?
When you're going this way.
And what are you doing when you're doing that?
Cuticle. Like when you're using like the diamond.
Mm-hmm. And you're going on the nail plate?
Yeah, and you're going this
right,
way.
not on the skin, right?
Right,
because that's called a what? What kind of manicure is that?
Oh,
Yep.
Russian,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And we don't do that, right?
Do that.
We don't exfoliate the skin off of
Right.
people's very, very soft,
Right, that's what
gentle cuticles, okay? We don't want to be doing that.
And
But
it's on the nail plate,
just the
correct?
nail plate, right? But if you're one of those nail techs, because I see sometimes you're going in one direction and the cuticle just won't come off unless you go in reverse and flip. Like it's like you're slapping it off, like you're going boop 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 trying to get it off. But if you just go in one direction the whole time, it won't come off, right? So I get what you're saying. Yes, some nail techs do that as well. Okay, so you want that forward reverse feature. This does not have it. This is one way only. On, off, that's it. Fast, slow, how fast, I don't know. It does not go slow. That's it. This one has a forward and reverse. Now you will be tempted because when you turn it on, like right now, this is how you turn it on and off, right? Slow and the forward and reverse is to push the top. So you're tempted to go boop and push the top. Okay, don't do that. That's like just jerking your car into reverse. Turn it all the way down to 0. Pop that and then turn it, and then it will go in reverse. Okay, so this little e-file that cost me $28 on Temu that has all the features that you need. Okay, it's just not, and it goes up to 35K, but the torque behind it is not the best. But it is a great. I grab this to use it all the time just because this got the cord. And the cord is annoying, and then you got to have this somewhere so it doesn't fall. And so I love these. I'm trying to find a distributor as soon as they get rid of the tariffs. I'm gonna find me a distributor that I can have me some with my logo and all that on it. So for the students and all that, because it is a really cute little thing to have. Now. The chuck. What is a chuck? The twist thing? She said, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck? All right, the twist thing. Okay, so in this particular e-file, so let's put it on the screen here. For those of you that are on TikTok, this is on YouTube Live right now. All right, so the twist thing that she's talking about is in the hand piece, right? So that, and because I don't even really know what you would call it. How about where you twist it, right? This part right here that you twist. So you guys be careful when you're twisting, especially this is what you guys do with this e-file. And then you go, Miss Mary, it's not working because you're twisting the wrong part. You're taking it apart instead of twisting the right part. Okay. So on your e-file, you'll notice here, like this is my e-file. See how it has lock, unlock. So some of y'all twist this part, or you twist this part, or you twist both parts, and then next thing you know, this thing is open and all the parts, guts are laying on the table, okay? So this part should be tight. This part, all of this should be tight. The only part that twists is this middle part, lock, unlock. And what does that mean? That means that when I twist it to unlock, I can take this bit out. So the chuck is not the twisting part, the part that you can twist. The chuck is here. This is the chuck. Okay, just like on a drill, when you're using a drill to actually drill holes in walls, it kind of, yeah, it's like a little mouth that closes and shuts. You'll notice in this one, if I twist it, let me put that down. If I twist it to lock, those little lines disappear, don't they? Okay, so in an actual electric file that we use on nails, this is a safety feature. When you have this open and you try to turn it on, it won't work. Which is good, because if it did turn on, the bit would do what? Fly and hit your client in the eye, and then they're gonna sue you. Ain't it right, Brad? If we get a e-file bit in your eye and you lose an eye, yeah, you don't want that. So this has a safety feature. So same thing here. If I open this one, unlock it. Okay, lock it, unlock, lock it, unlock. Same thing will happen if I turn it. It's not going to turn it on. It's not, you won't hear nothing. Now with this one, this is different. This is not an e-file for use on nails. When you turn this one, first of all, there's a little pin mechanism here. Pin meaning pin. I don't know why that's there. Why is that there?
I don't know why they see me. I see you. You see?
Pin mechanism. So you see this little button right here? I've got to twist this until it sticks in, right? Until it goes all the way in. What that does is it locks this so that I can twist this and make it tight. So you'll notice when I take this all the way off, see how that is all the way open? Now if I release this, this will turn. If I hold this in until it will stop turning. Well, I done took this off, so, but there it goes. So if I hold this in, then it keeps this from, it'll turn it all the way around till it snaps it closed, okay? So this is keeping it, you don't want to use this anyway, all right? But the reason I'm showing you this is because if I put this back on, well, let me lock it. If I put this back on, put this in here, and it's like, this is not on, okay? I can turn this on. Look, it'll turn, and this thing, if it's not completely locked, it will go out. If I just sling my arm, it'll sling out, okay? So this is not for use on nails. It does not have a safety feature to turn this off, okay? Again, you use if all you can afford is a $10 drill, then do what you do, but get you $10 more and get one of these, okay? All right now. All right, everybody got that? Chuck. Now, foot pedal. Can we use a foot pedal on this? No, we can't use a foot pedal on this. Let me put that back on the screen. We can't use a foot pedal on this. All right, but a foot pedal, I love a foot pedal. Okay, but that's only going to be on your tabletop machines that you can plug in, that sits on your table all the time. If you can find one that has variable speed, get it if you're going to get a tabletop. And what does that mean? What do I mean by that? Variable speed. It'll go from slow to fast to slow, mid, like a car. Okay, like you can hit the gas and it'll go all the way high and low. Most of them are on off, like you just hit it, turns on, turns off, turns on, turns off. You got to change the speed on the box, which to me makes no sense. Like if I'm gonna have a pedal, I want to be able to slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. Okay, so find one that has variable speed, but those are great to have if you can find one. All right, everybody got that? So we've already talked about your machine features as far as RPMs, variable speed control, comfortable handpiece, and a closed case casing handpiece. All right, meaning one that has that emergency lock on it. All right, moving right along. This is important when you buy. Okay, And this is what got my bike payment, made it more expensive. Started at $150, but I walked out of there at $250. Why? Any of y'all bought a car before? I bought that extended warranty. I bought that I can come in and get free oil changes for the rest of my life. I bought that if my tire gets a nail in it, y'all gonna replace it for free. Because bike parts are expensive. Oil changes are $300. Okay? Hell, bike, you're like, damn, $300? Yeah, I'm gonna pay a little extra, for the warranty. Okay? So when you buy something that costs you $600, which a Coupa e-file will cost you $600. But they come with, off the rip, a 5-year warranty or something like that. I'm not 100% sure because I can't afford one. I don't want an e-file that costs that much. I won't use it. I'll just look at it. Look at that pretty thing sitting over there. We're going to use this right here. But you want to get one if you're going to spend a lot of money on one that has a warranty and also maintenance. So Coupa, if you buy one of theirs, they will allow you, or they have a maintenance warranty where you can send it in every 6 months or so to have it maintenance. Okay, a lot of y'all have never opened up your handpiece and cleaned it, have you? You got one, you've never opened it up? And what do I, and you shouldn't unless you know what you're doing, okay? Because the pieces will go like this, ping, springs, ping. Now, I know how to do the maintenance on mine, okay? But when you first get an e-file, you're gonna be scared to do this. So y'all do what you do on YouTube and go find a video to show you how to do it. I highly recommend that when you take it apart, you either take it or take pictures of what it looked like when you took it apart so you can put the pieces back together, okay? But if you get a nice e-file, really expensive one, you can send it in, they will do the maintenance, oil and grease it, take all the dust out of it, clean it up. So what I mean by taking this apart, when you think about when you put your clothes in the dryer, right? What do you have? Some of y'all ain't changed it all month. What do you need to clean? The lint thing, right? The lint thing. Listen, I do it after maybe 3 or 4 dries, and it comes out. It's a whole pillow in there. But that's not good, right? Because what can happen? You can start a fire. It's a fire. You don't want to start a fire, okay? And if you do not clean this out, it gets dust all in there. This whole piece right here. What happened to my screen? It gets dust in there. All right, and you don't want that. So you want to learn how, or at least take this thing and get, let me put this overhead. Open this up, and when you open it up, again, there's a bunch of pieces. You'll see dust all in there. You can take it, and that's what you use this for. Get the dust out, okay? So that it doesn't catch on or get hot, overheat, stop working. Remember the motor's in there, okay? Everybody got that? Cool. All right, so warranty and maintenance is important when you're buying something that you don't want to have to buy again, over time, over and over again. Okay, moving right along. Make sure I'm on. Look, my screen went away. That's what I was like. Wait a minute. All right. So where am I at? Here we go. So we're going to try to choose the proper bit for each service. Probably didn't know that there are different bits for different services. All right, different ones that you can choose to use anyway for different services. All right, what are those bits called right there that we're looking at? Carbide bits. Excellent. Those are carbide bits. Hold on, y'all. Okay, now there's a variety of different shapes and sizes of bits, different styles of bits out there. Okay. Hold on, let me put it. I was like, where's my view at? Present. There it is. Sorry. There it is. Boom. I was like, it went away. Okay. Again, they call them drill bits, right? Which I hate the name of that. They come in different sizes, different shapes, different styles, different lengths, and this little part right here. Anybody know what that's called? This bar that we stick into the chuck, what that's called? Different shank sizes. The shank, not the kind that you know, prison shank. But this is the shank. So they come in different sizes too. Now, bits come in different prices as well. Lots of different prices, all right? So I'm going to recommend a couple of websites for you real quick. Okay? First one is Atwood Industries. ATWOO. Atwood Industries. Okay? RAM Products. RAM. And you'll Google this because I can't remember the exact name. RAM. RAM. They have e-file bits. Now, when you go on their website, you will see dental bits for dentists, which are exactly the same as some of the bits that we use, all right? But they have them broke up into sections. Don't go over there in that dental side. Leave that alone. Yes, they look similar, but go to the nail side and get the nail bits. They will be, all these people come to the show. And when you go to the show, you might be able to get, they'll sell you like 5 bits for $1, or each one $1 or $5 a piece. Bits that you normally would pay $10, $20 for. Okay, so that's when I rack up. So how many bits should you be buying? If you only have one of this particular bit, and you use it with every client, which do I expect that you should be doing between each client? Cleaning and disinfecting it between each client. And ain't nobody got time for all of that. So what does that mean? That means you need to have 2 or 3 of each type of bit that you really love to use. And you will see that when I buy my bits, I buy at least 2 of them. Now these are dirty, I'm embarrassed, but I only use them on myself, okay? 2 of them. So that's what I recommend. Maybe 3 of them, depending on how much time you got in between, okay, to clean your bits. Now, what you don't want to have, is damaged bits, okay? And how do we damage our bits? How do we accidentally, there's my other one. Look, I got a black one for y'all. I got pink, black. We got all kinds of colors. How do you damage your bits, y'all? Yes, if they bend or they get wobbly, okay? We don't want wobbly bits, all right? And I'll be able to find this in a minute, but I'm gonna keep them because I got so many different, y'all. I got so many bits. You know which one it is? The yellow one. It's a wobbly bit. It's that pointed one. All right, so and I'll show you guys some examples of bits that you don't want. You definitely don't want to. I keep them for purposes of it's a diamond bit, and it is a cone shape. So you want to make sure that you don't drop. How do we damage our bits? How do we even do that? Absolutely. So this is when you take let's just say you have an e-file that has a handpiece that has a cord on it, right? The cord is great because it keeps you from losing it, keeps it from falling on the ground. But what it doesn't keep it from doing is this is what normally happens. You drop it and it goes straight down on the floor. Boing! And what happens to the bit? Ding! And then it goes kink. And then you're like, I didn't even notice that it was bent until you go to put it on the client and start spanking your client. Clap, 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 clap. I probably can find it faster than you just because I've seen it so many times. But this is it. This is it right here. It's the only cone-shaped one that's on here. So this is an example of a wobbly bit. Hold on. Wait a minute now. Stop. Okay. So this is a wobbly bit. Wobbly. Hold on. Tell them my age. Okay. So you will be able to see this when I turn it on. Okay. Let's see. Turn on. You See that? You see it? And you won't notice it if it's very minute. But if you put that on a client and you start filing, it's going to put dents and it will destroy your client's nail. Okay? So, and then there's one with a yellow guard on it. Do you see that one? Mm-hmm. What is another way that we can damage bits? How about when you're removing stones? Anybody ever tried to remove stones with their bits? What happens when you do that? Oh, it can do dents. It can take out entire pieces, chunks of your bit. Okay, for instance, hopefully you can see this. Let's see, turn it. You can see where the teeth on this bit, and we're not gonna call it teeth in a minute. But you can see that this one, which I would never, this right here is a jaws type of bit. Like it literally is going to cut your client. You just one slip of the wrist. Okay, I do not recommend buying bits like this. And what do I mean by that? Not the little teeth on it, but what part? The edges, these sharp edges. Find me a safety bit while you're in there. Okay, so there's no excuse in you cutting your clients because they make bits that will protect you from doing that. Okay, so when I like to keep bits like this when they get damaged, because what do you think I'm gonna keep it for? To use it for? To use it for the same reason I damaged it. Okay, use these damaged bits to help you remove stones that you just can't pluck off and they just won't. Don't use your good, smooth, brand new bits to take off stones. Once you get one that's old and dusty, keep that one and use it to do your removing. Okay, now don't use any damaged bits. Stop being cheap, go buy a new one. All right, always have a backup one. All right, everybody understand that? Okay, so let's move right along. The next thing we're going to talk about is the anatomy of a bit. Okay, so the anatomy of a bit is you need to know these things. First of all, when choosing your bits, they need to be balanced, right? Meaning they don't need to be wobbly, okay, or bent. And so we're looking for our bits to be concentric. What does that mean? Symmetrical or the same on the all concentric is around the same all the way around. Okay, so you wouldn't use a bit that was L-shaped or any other shape other than some type of roundness to it. Okay, and it needs to be the same all the way around because it's spinning in a circle. All right, now you want to look for surface smoothness. Again, that one that I just showed you was jagged. It had teeth that were missing. I'm gonna say teeth for the next few seconds. We're gonna change that in a minute. But it had teeth that were missing, so it had been bent. So if you use that on your acrylic nails, it's going to leave marks in your nails, and it's not going to be smooth. Okay. Now the edges are very important. Many bits are cut in a certain way, or they will cut things a certain way. And if you have a part of the top of the bit, especially these square top bits, this chunk is missing, it's also going to cause unevenness in your client's nails. All right. Now, what about grit? How do we got grit in files, right? You got 100 grit file, 80 grit file, 180 grit file. That determines what? Whether it's coarse or fine. We have the same thing with bits. Okay, same thing. So when you hear me say, you might see a bit, for instance. Again, please don't judge me, y'all. My bits, some of these bits are dirty. Okay, because I have been using them on my scissors. All right, these are both. Yeah, I got one that's coarse here. Okay. So when you are going up to these, because they've just got, when you go to buy them, they just got them in this box, and they got really little rings around them, and one's red, and one's yellow, and you're like, what the hell? I don't know what that means. All right. Just know that it varies from manufacturer to manufacturer. So if I tell you red means it's coarse, it might not mean it's coarse with the next place. Okay. It might mean it's fine. So don't go by that. You need to be able to look at these bits and tell what they do, okay? But in general, they will say, oh, this one's coarse, extra coarse, 3x coarse, okay? So I'm gonna let y'all see the difference between these different bits that I have on, so you can see. For instance, this one, I don't know what kind of coarse it is, but this one will take a finger off, okay, if you slip. And I'm not saying that to joke. I have done it. Nearly lacerated my client's entire finger off. She went to the emergency room and got stitches. And that heifer came back and said she wanted me to finish her nails after she got stitches. This is when I was a new nail tech. Okay. And I'm, you know, when I say I almost took her finger off, I'm going to show you what happened. Okay. I had, and it wasn't this kind of bit, because this is really a safety bit. And how do I know it's a safety bit? Technically it's not, but it's close to it. It doesn't have a sharp edge. Okay, let me show you one of the sharp edge. So this one has a soft, the top of it is smooth. This will cut you like a razor blade, because this part right here is very sharp, the edge. This right here, the flutes go all the way up to the top. So it kind of rounds off it. It will cut you. Now you can cut anybody with any bit, but the chances of me cutting myself are a little lower, even though this is a 3X bit, 3 or 4 or 5X. It looks like a 10X bit, don't it? All right. So what happened when I was doing my client's nails, and notice the length on this one, right? That's for you, because you guys like them extendos and stuff. This is great for that, but you would never need one this long for any other reason. So what I was doing, I was on the client's nails, and it went whoop, all the way around. Did it like twice, because I was going way too fast. And this, so she ended up getting a cut from here to here that she required stitches. Okay, and it cut her cuticle like all the way up. So she was just like, well, you ain't, she got done, came back. She was like, I still need my nails done, the other 9. And I was like, I was just glad she didn't sue me. But my insurance, which is why you all should have insurance, covered her ER bill. Okay? This kind of stuff happens in the nail salon. It shouldn't happen after today, because I'm going to tell you that you should never, ever, ever be going that fast where it whips around, and you should never be using bits that can cut your client. Get yourself safety bits, and till you get good at it, this is the kind you should be using. One that has a rounded top, okay? That if no matter what you do, you get around that cuticle, it's not, there's nothing that's going to cut that cuticle. Now, again, if you push hard enough, you can do some damage. And if you are filing on top of the skin, like up here, it's going to do some damage. But chances are, you know, minimize your risk, okay? If this whips around the client's finger, it's not going to cut it. Notice the difference in the grit, okay? When I say the grit in this one versus this one. Way super, super coarse versus one that's medium.
I was going to tell you to show them like the top so they know like
right.
the
So
roundness.
for instance, this one, you see the difference in this one? Mm-hmm. See how it's more rounded? Because those are called flutes. We're not going to call them teeth anymore, okay? Flutes. That's on my next slide. I don't want to go too far. But so everybody understand that? So see, there's no reason for you to ever need anything past a coarse bit, in my opinion. If you are using a bit like this,
Thicker bit. That's what
you are taking a risk that is unnecessary. You can take down a nail and file it way down low so that you can, because most people are using this for takedowns and cut, and they want to soak off the nails and they want to remove it really, really quickly. First of all, slow down. Dang. Yeah. You're taking a risk of cutting yourself, okay? But if you're going to use this bit, okay, if you're going to use one like this, never, and even when a cut down, if you're going really, really fast with an E-file, y'all stop going like this. Start doing this away from the client. Away. Because if you go this way, you're going to cut their skin. If you're doing it like this, you're gonna whip around don't go at high speeds in any other direction than away from the client. Okay? Period. Just period. But if you insist upon using these, then have good training on how to use them. I don't feel like anybody needs to use this. Cut the nail down. If you're doing a cut down, cut the nail down short. Take off as much as you can. Soak what you can. Work on the other hand while that one's soaking and you flip and twist. It shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to do a complete removal without taking the risk. Okay? Yeah, it's faster. But so is going 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle. You're going to get to where you're going, but you might die on your way there. I know I'm going to use a lot of motorcycle references, y'all, because I did a safety class this weekend. Don't minimize your risk, okay? Because this is how you're going to make your client bleed, okay? This is how. And that's once they start bleeding, yeah. Again, I told you what you're supposed to do. What you do when you leave here, that's on you. You take the risk and you deal with that, all right? Now, so we got grit, right? Now, I told you about shank. Now, shank size is very important too, okay? Shank size, what do I mean by that? So, when you talk about shank size, you will buy these on the internet and you're going to buy the wrong size if you don't know which one to buy, okay? The shank size that you should be using for nail bits when you go and buy them. Again, because remember I told you that you can find dental bits and drill bits that look very similar to what we use. Anything that is not a 3/32, meaning 3/32 of an inch, is not going to fit your nail file. Now it will fit this, not this. It will fit this. Because this, you can twist it to whatever, because this is for a drill. Anybody, if you've ever used a drill, you know, you put it in and you can open it up. It gets really, really big. It's really, really small. That's because it's a drill bit. It's for drill bits. This will do that. This only fits 3/32 of an inch because it snaps on it. Okay, so if you buy anything other than that size, it's not gonna fit. And you're buying the wrong kind of bit, okay? Everybody got that? So shank size equals 3/32 of an inch. All right, moving right along. We're gonna get to the fun stuff in a few minutes. All right, there's several different types of bits out there, okay? Several different types. The first type we're gonna talk about is diamond bits, all right? Got several different kinds over here. Let's pull out my little different shapes I got here. We got all different kinds of diamond bits, little ones, big ones, and I'm going to tell you the ones that I think you should have, and then you can do whatever you want with that information, okay? All right, that's not diamond bit. All right, now what are diamond bits? They got diamonds in them? Well, hopefully they're synthetic, right? Not real diamonds, but synthetic diamond particles, natural and synthetic diamond particles, okay? And they can be used, this is very important, diamond bits can be used in any direction, meaning backwards and forwards, in reverse or forwards on your e-file, okay? Why is that? Why is that? They're usually, well, you know, they make coarse ones. They make coarse ones, yeah. They can be sharp. But the thing about diamond bits is they don't have those, you know, those things I just called flutes. Those flutes go in a certain direction, you know, clockwise or counterclockwise. So if you're using a certain type of carbide bit or those gold bits or those blue bits or whatever metal bit that has flutes, some of them can only go in one direction. If you try to use it in reverse, it's not going to do nothing because the cuts are not going in that direction. I'll explain that in a minute. But just for purposes of testing and worksheet that you guys are going to have due by next week, Thursday night, okay? They can go back and forth in any direction because there's no directional path on the bit, okay? So the most commonly used grit is medium, okay? I like to use fine ones, tiny fine ones in the cuticle area to remove cuticle off of the nail, and I'm gonna show you that, everybody, because some of y'all are writing the notes, okay, but let me show you on my overhead here. All right, so these are all diamond bits. All of them have different purposes. You choose how you want to use them. I will tell you this, that these are the only bits that you can put on a natural nail, okay? Medium or fine, not coarse. Please don't use coarse on a natural nail. All right, all of these are medium to fine, and every last one of these would be considered a cuticle bit or one that you would use to prep the nail. So my absolute favorite bit that I use on every single client is this one. And what do you think I use this for? This is for that perfect cuticle work, okay? Now there's other variations. This is a teeny weeny, right? You could do something like this or this, okay, to your preference, okay? Same thing, it's just a little longer. The best type of bit to use is the longer one if you're going to use this on the entire nail, to prep the entire nail. So you can get them even longer, like so, and I sell these, y'all, okay? $5 for these. You can take this and take it and get around the cuticle. You're not going to cut the client, and then you can ring, same way y'all do with them sanding bands. Use this instead. If a buffer, if you're using, and you remember I told you guys use a buffer, but you don't want to use a fine buffer. You would to buff the nail plate because that's making it shiny, isn't it? You don't want to shine. You don't want it so finely buffed that it won't stick. So you would want to use like a medium or a coarse buffer, but this would be equivalent to buffing the nail for your prep. Okay. So use this instead, but I would use a big one to do the entire nail, and then when I'm going in and doing my fine cuticle area work, where if I've got a client who the cuticle just laying on that nail plate and I want to get it off, this bit is called a skiver bit or a skiver bit. I don't know how you call it. Oh, the other, I forgot to tell y'all one more. Erica's ATA. One more website, Erica's ATA. I never can remember what ATA stands for. Erica, ERICAS ATA. Okay, she has all these bits. The skiver bit is on Atwood's Industries. I think you're looking at it. Erica she has free education. You will meet her. She's a regular schmegular person. I've met her several times. She has several different e-files and specializes in the advanced pedicuring bits and things of that nature that you will need when you're dealing with these clients that have those medical grade pedicure needs on those toenails that are like, okay. But this is my absolute favorite bit. I can't do a set without it. I mean, the way I want to, okay? So get you some diamond bits, get several of them. Again, what shape, you will decide what you like the best. These all will do pretty much the same thing. Just, it's like picking, pick your poison. What do you like the best? But they all kind of do the same. Now, this is also a diamond bit. And what do you think this bit is for? This is for feet. This is a pedicuring bit. You notice how large it is? This is a coarse pedicuring bit. What's up with the holes? What's the deal with the holes? To reduce the heat. Somebody remembers some of this stuff, okay? She remembers. All right, it will reduce because what did I tell y'all earlier? When you're doing pedicures with a e-file, you've got to go fast. And what else does it have to be? The foot in particular. Wet or dry? Dry. You cannot use this bit on a wet, sloppy foot, okay? Because it's just going to be sliding all around the skin. So there are things that we do in school versus this is a bit kit. I'm gonna show y'all that in a minute. So if y'all got a lot of bits, get you one of these, okay, to travel with your stuff. All right. so that you can keep everything in one place. All right. Or something like this. Not everything fits in there though. This will also hold brushes. That's why I like it. Brushes and bits in the same place. Okay, I think I got that from Profiles Nail Supply. Profiles. Profiles. If you haven't been on that website, please don't go today. You won't get off of it. Because they have glitter everywhere. So much fun on that website. Okay, but here's another pedicuring bit. Okay, they have different ones. This is one. Okay, great for getting in between the toes, getting those calluses, getting in the ball of the foot, where you can't really get a flat pumice stone, because you know we're using new ones, not old ones that are shaped rounded like an old bar soap. Okay, you're using a new one on each client, and those or foot paddles on a client, and they're flat. So if you've got a client that's got a really high arch in their foot, you may want to use one of these. Okay. All right. Everybody got that? These are all diamond bits. Get you some. Y'all can see I have more bits than, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But keep your old ones. I keep the old ones so that you guys, they're worn down, and so you won't cut yourselves or the clients with them. Okay. All right. Brad, you learning something too?
She put me to sleep.
I was about to say, he sounded like on the bed over there. All right, he made a sound. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is the carbide bits. Okay, what is carbide? What's carbide? If he wants a snack or anything or something to drink,
He can't eat nothing.
not right now, but I mean afterwards, just what he can offer it. What are carbide bits? That's what he getting his nails done. Is he getting a gel manicure? No, just regular. What's carbide? Anybody remember? Anybody remember from chemistry class that thing, the periodic table? I only know a couple. But I remember carbide was on there, right? It's a metal, right? It's a metal, right? It is a metal, but carbides come in different. They'll come in different colors. Like these are. This is still a carbide. Okay, even though it's not silver, it's a carbide. It's gold. Then we've got them in different colors. Y'all get them in these rainbow colors. Then you get them in blue and all those different colors. Okay, here's the thing, y'all.
Do you sell those too?
I do, but these are my favorite.
I have one.
I gave everyone one as a prize. Remember when y'all did y'all's nail art thing? All right, we'll get to that in a second. But carbide bits. They have flutes in them, those lines, all right? Notice in this one in the picture, it has lines that go across like this, cross cut, right? That's important. When you buy these, and when y'all ever notice that they do or don't, right? So if it has cross cuts, that means that the bit can be put in reverse or forward. It's gonna cut either way, all right? If you buy one like that big, this one right here that I showed you guys earlier, the hunky chunky one, the jaws bit, notice those flutes only go in one direction. That means if you're left-handed, you can't use this bit unless you are in reverse, okay? Which is gonna be awkward, and you probably gonna cut somebody, all right? So keep that in mind when you're buying your bits. Look for those cross cuts, okay, so that you know that it goes in both directions, back and forth. Now there's another word that you will see, which is called Swiss carbide bits, okay? Swiss carbide bits. Anybody ever heard of that? Oop, I went to the wrong slide. Sorry. Swiss carbide bits. What is a Swiss carbide bit? They're made in Switzerland. Okay, and they're excellent for beginners, and we call them safety bits. Okay, the ones with the rounded top. But you'll hear, oh, it's a Swiss bit. It's a safety bit. Okay, made in Switzerland, so they say. But I can guarantee you, it was made where? In China. They just shipped it over there, and then the Swiss people put beep made in Switzerland on it or whatever, and in the case that they send it to, and sent it to you. All right, y'all don't fall for that mess. All right. All right, everybody got carbide bits. Now, what is one of the things that, again, we do not put metal bits or nothing. Just remember this: nothing goes on the natural nail except ever. I don't care what nobody on the internet tells you. I don't care what you see. I don't care what you've been doing. You're doing it wrong. And you're causing your client. Your client is the one that comes and sits in my chair and says, I don't like acrylic. It made my nails thin. No. Your last nail tech did that. The product didn't do nothing to you. Okay? And that's a conversation I have with people, new clients, every time I get one. Okay? How did she do?
She put me to sleep. Look, she did awesome.
Okay, nice one.
Cause if I did go to
Well,
sleep,
he gave you a tip. I owe you like $3, I think. Yeah.
and if I did go to sleep,
He didn't even know
that
you was
mean I'm
gonna do
watching
it.
you.
Well, come back.
You
Come back and see us. I will text you later. Yep. Unless you want to sit around. Let me see. Oh,
I feel
nice.
like my old self again.
Look, I was about to say you normally wear
Black.
polish on your nails. Yeah. I'll have to tell y'all about that later.
Love
We've been
it.
knowing each other for years.
Yes.
Tell your mama I said hey.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Ladies, y'all have a good one.
Bye.
Yes, she is the goat. So what she said is the truth.
We've been knowing each other. How many years? 20 something? 20 years at least? Yeah, long time. Since Mac counter days, honey. Long time. All right.
First is the count.
That's it. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome, baby.
Bye. He's so sweet. He's really sweet, y'all. All right. So we got our Swiss carbide bits. Never on the natural nail. Only diamond bits on the natural nail. Okay. All right. Moving right along. Now, silicone bits. I don't have any silicone bits. All right. Now, the book will tell you that silicone bits are great for removing like non-living tissue, meaning cuticle, off of the nail plate, but it also is going to shine up the nail plate. So the only reason you would want to use a silicone bit is if you're doing natural nails and you just not like on a man maybe, right? But I've never seen one for sale. Don't ask me where you can get them, but for state board purposes, you may see silicone bit on your state board, and just know that all it is good for is rubbing the nail plate and rubbing off the cuticle, which you should be doing with a cuticle pusher anyway. Okay. They feel like a pencil eraser. They're kind of rubbery. Okay. And I haven't seen one in my entire career in person. Okay. So, and they're good for shining the nail. How you clean them and all that stuff, I guess you would do it the same way. But again, just for purposes of the state board. Now, I have one of these chamois bits, but I just want to tell y'all off the rip, okay? You should not be using them on anybody. You use them on one client only, and then you don't use it on another client again. Why? Because they are made out of sheepskin. A natural skin. Okay, this is the same thing that you use to dry your car off with if you are, those wring it out, the sheepskin or whatever chamois bits. I use mine to clean my rings and jewelry with. Okay, I use my silver and then I put it on my bit thing, and then that's why it looks black like this, because silver will turn it black. But I use it to clean my jewelry with. Great for that. But as far as on clients, it's only meant for shining, buffing, natural nails. Okay, and so you're gonna buy them. They're really, really cheap, like 50 cents a piece, and then throw it away afterward, or give it to your client. Tell them to use it in the jewelry at home or something. I don't know. All right. So can't sanitize it, can't disinfect it. See them all the time. All right. What's another type of bit? Now, a cotton bit, y'all. Yes, there are cotton bits out there. Here it is. So, anybody ever, because when you first started, you saw, that's one. Yep. When you first started, you saw e-files at the Dollar Tree, didn't you?
Yep.
You saw them at Walmart, right? You bought one, didn't you? I know you came in here. Did you come in here with one?
I sure
She
did.
did. I was like, no, she didn't. She came in here with one of the
It
Walmart.
did for
It did. It worked for about 5 minutes. But they give you a little kit like this, right? That comes with little bits and all that stuff. Lord have mercy. It came with bits in it, little bits for you to use like this, right? And every last one of them, because when you buy those, they're not for professional use. They're for personal use. So every last one of these bits that they put in here are for personal use. Put it in the back to be sanitized.
It's a container.
Yes, a container. All right, so this bit comes with one. I think you gave me this when I was like, give me that so I can keep it or something. So this is made out of cotton. Why you need a cotton bit? I mean, it's really tightly wound cotton right here. But I guess you could use that to, I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah, with a bit. Remove the polish with a bit. Like maybe you put a little maybe you're doing a touch up with this big ass bit and you're like, oh, I got it on my skin, I'm gonna just clean it off with some acetone and a little, I don't know what you would use this for. I really don't. I'll put it in my nose and turn it on. Like a Q-tip. There you go. Don't do that, y'all. Don't do that. Don't do that. But if you got, ooh, God, I know, sticking it too far in.
No, use the drill and then like try to put my hair behind my ear.
Oh yes, that we talk about it here. Make sure you have your hair tied back when you're using the e-file. It happened in here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Somebody whipped it around their hair. I mean, it wasn't going very fast, but it did. It stopped. It whipped it around their hair. But this again, don't use it. It's no good use for it. How do you feel? Your first client. He's sweet. He made you feel good in it. He's sweet. And you put him to sleep. He ain't say a word. You would have known of that deep voice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would have known. All right. So these are to be thrown away. You can't use them on anybody but yourself. Again, if you put anything on this, you can't disinfect it. You can't do anything with it. Okay. And then you've got your natural hair bristles. Now this is synthetic hair. This is this can be disinfected. This can be sanitized. What do you use this for? I don't know. I use it to, if I ever need it, to remove dust. Like if I've got a client that I just did a whole bunch of diamonds and bling and stuff like that. Some dust might be on their hands or might even be on the diamonds, or maybe I like to shine up the diamonds. I'll take like a little alcohol, spray it on it, and then take a small, I've got even a smaller one too. That is really good for, boobs on the, where's the smaller one? Okay, I've got one that you can get in there really, really good. As you can see, I use this also with my jewelry, to clean jewelry. Get in, take some alcohol, spray it, get in there and clean them up real good. Only do that if it's real jewelry though. Don't do it on fake jewelry. Turn it a whole nother color. All right. Anybody ever heard of buffing cream? That's the stuff that I use on my jewelry. They use it on nails too. Okay, you put a little pap of it on the natural nail. Take that chamois bit, this one right here. You put it on. These will shine your nails up, y'all. It will shine it up. Turn this on. Okay, this is a brand new e-file. Okay, you see how you turn that on? You put it on the nail, and it will shine up a man's, or anybody, I won't say anybody, natural nail, and give it a nice shine, buff it. And when you put buffing cream on there, even shinier. But some men are just like, I don't want no polish, no clear coat, but I want them to be shiny. Okay, still got men like that just want a nice buff. All right, give you a nice high gloss. Okay, now, these are bits you probably have seen and didn't know what they were for. Okay, tapered bits are great just so they're not flat. They kind of cone shaped so you can get in the cuticle area really well. All right, but this saucer bit, because you will see this on your worksheet. What is that saucer bit for? I'm calling it a saucer. Sorry. Thank you for letting me know. What is that bit shaped for? So back in the day, before we hand painted Frenches and did airbrush French tips, we used to use pink and white acrylic, okay, to do French tips. Tammy Taylor. If you don't know who she is, how did you get here? She's my mentor. Like literally, that's the reason why I started doing nails. Okay. Tammy Taylor, queen of pink and whites. She's in the Guinness Book of World Records for doing the fastest set of pink and whites. I think it was 13 minutes. Pink and white sculpted. Pink acrylic, white acrylic. On sculpted nails, all 10 fingers. Filed, shaped, buff, top coat in 13 minutes. Fastest, Guinness Book of World Records. Okay. Most amazing woman in the world. Sorry, I'm biased. But anyway, used to have to do those French with pink and white. That was the thing. Okay. In order to fill them in, think about it. Even when you wear your pink and whites that you hand paint, after you've worn them for 6 weeks, where does the French line go to? Way far out. And the pink part is way far in, right? And way far out too. So you got to bring it back, or you start looking like you got these really long nail beds, right? So to keep from having to take the whole set off, because see me, I'm lazy. I'm be like, oh, we got to take this whole set off to start over, because you've had them on for 3 fill-ins basically, right? But to keep from having to do that, which you shouldn't have to take a nail set off every third fill-in, right? To keep from having to do that, so we could fill in the French area, what we would do is we would carve out a ditch in the shape of the French line. And you did that with that saucer shaped bit. That the pointed part at the bottom, you use that as like a ditch digger. Okay. Now you couldn't even do that with the type of Frenches y'all do now. Because you wouldn't be, see, our French lines, y'all's French lines are on drugs. Like, they smiling like this. Our smile lines were more like, hey girl, how you doing? It was like, and some of them weren't even all the way used. It was more like a bent line, like a dip, right? So all you did was you just went around. You couldn't do that with this now. You'd be spending all day. What you would say nowadays is, when you do a pink and white line, I'm just gonna draw your new line in there, and the rest can be white, because that's just too much work, right? But back then, that's what we did that, and we used our French fill bits to do that with. Okay, so that you might see those, you might not. Okay, but that's what we used to use. All right, now what is that? What the hell is that? It is a file, an emery board for the natural nail. I have one right here. Okay, so I'll show you how you use it. These are really great. This is called a natural nail disc. Okay, these are really great for. These are really great for toenails. Okay, so when you not everybody has long tip free edges on their toenails. Okay, not everybody waits 6 months to get their nails done like me. Okay, then where to go? And they have a long free edge that needs to be filed down with an emery board, right? So, because on a natural nail, we're not gonna use a really coarse file, because it'll be harder for us to buff it and all that stuff, and make it smooth so it don't catch on your sheets and put runs in it, right? All right, so this bit, now it's gonna sound weird, right? Because it's gonna. So what happens is the e-file spins this part, just like any drill bit, okay? But this part, it will stop. And so it'll make sense when I show you. But don't mind the sound though, what happens when I do this. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this on. Okay, so you see that the disc is spinning on the inside. And the outside is spinning too. But I can take my hand and it'll stop. You know that it stopped because you can see the lines on it, right? So this, if you got a client that has, let's say you got a client with bitten nails, right? Really, their nails are really short, or they've got nails where their skin is just sticking out. You can't get a file under there. Some toenails, it's hard for you to get a file under there to file them. Okay, you're gonna take this bit. All my nails are growing. So y'all see how long this manicure has lasted? What I tell y'all about that gel? Ain't lifted up. Look, my stone's still on there. I need a fill in. Look, this is anyhow. So you take this if you've got a client with really short nails, and this will protect their skin from the file. So I press it down and then I push up. See how it's file? Now, see, that's not very powerful, is it? I've got it on 9, but I can turn this up, the speed. So when I take this, lay it here, push it up against there, and it's filing the nail. You see it's filing my nail? Don't mind, I know that sounds really weird, but that's because I'm going really fast. But you see how it filed my nail? My skin was protected. I've got a free edge. For clients that have really short nails it's those clients that have more skin sticking out than they do nail. Okay, but their nail grows, and their nail's growing and growing, and they still got a bunch of flesh sticking out from the tip of their nail. This will make it easier for you. It's really good for toenails, especially clients that have fat meat around their toenails. Okay, good to have. Do I use it a lot? Not really, but you may come into a time when you may need to use it. Okay, and then we talked about pedicure bits. All right, great for the skin on the bottom of the feet. I love those things, and I do dry pedicures on myself. I have a weird thing that I don't like my hands to be wet. Now, I'm not talking about taking a shower. I'm talking about the rest of my body is dry and my hands are in a dirty sink of water. I'm that person that takes the dishes, wrenches them off like this, and puts them in the dishwasher. Because I don't like my hands to be in dirty dishwasher. And I don't like my hands to be in dirty pedicure water. So I do dry pedicures. Okay, and when we get to the pedicure, because we are going to be doing pedicures in the next week or two, it's up to Shayla. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so sanding bands. All of y'all have seen sanding bands, right? They come in different colors. They come in different shapes and different sizes. And now you guys are lucky. We always had these big fat ones. You see all this stuff I bought yesterday. Lord, I know we're gonna learn that stuff. But now you guys have the miniature sanding bands. And I bought these for purposes of showing you guys the different. I just be spending money on y'all. These are different colors. Why are they different colors? Different grits, okay? Because you see that your sanding bands come in different grits, just like any other file, right? So what is another name for a sanding band? It's right there. Arbor bands. Okay, so you'll hear that word too. Okay. Now, how do we put these on our e-file? With a mandrel. Okay. And mandrels also come in different sizes. Okay. This one that I have right here is the new ones that I was just telling you about. They're smaller. I like these because they're smaller. All right. But I bought these so I could show you guys the difference. So they're different colors, which I really like that, so you can identify which one is which by pick. You can't always tell which one is coarse, which one is medium, because once you take it out of the box that it came in or the package, you don't know which one is which. But this one is the medium, so that's 150. It says on there 150 medium. Okay, I'd say that's medium. This one is coarse, 120. And then this one is obviously going to be our fine, and that one is 180. Okay, so how do those numbers work? 180, 150, 120. The lower the number, the coarser the file, right? So this one is 120, that one's coarse. This one is medium, 150, and this one's 180. Okay, so choose which one you want to use it on. But remember, I don't care how fine it is. Please do not put a sanding band on the client's natural nail. This one is fine. It's 180. But remember I told you that's okay for you to use a 180 buffer. This is a 180 buffer on a client's nail. But are you going 1,000 times per minute on somebody's finger with a buffer? No, you're not. Okay. With this, you are. Okay. And that's way too much. So you'll want to use, like I said, a diamond bit at a very low speed if you're going to use a buffer. Otherwise, use a buffer that's like a medium or a coarse buffer. Okay. So there's your mandrel. You guys, we've got bigger ones, bigger ones out there. Here's another type of mandrel. I like this one because it's got a little diamond in the top. But what is that? What are these little lines here for? What is this? Why does it look like that? Right. So these flex, these little pieces right here, or this little, where this separation is here, that flexes. So when you put it on, it flares out and it gets tighter right there. Okay. So it gets tighter in that section. I believe I have, this is a regular one. Do you see my rubber one anywhere over there? Here, this is a normal one that you guys use every day. That usually comes free with, it's black. If you don't see it. Probably not. If you don't see it, don't worry about it. If you don't see it, don't worry. Okay, but those are the different types of mandrels out there. I also have a black silicone one, which I really like. It's squishy. Put it on, and the reason I like it is because you can, when you're doing around the cuticle area on top of acrylics or gels, it has flex to it, so it won't cut the client as much. But it is one of those that it's hard to get the mandrel on and off. All right, we're almost done. Almost done. I'm gonna make y'all mad real quick. So these bits right here, these are not for drilling off the skin around the cuticle that everyone, you see these videos where people take that little ball bit and they just grind off. Have y'all ever felt that? I don't understand why. I know the client's screaming inside, but they just don't want to say nothing because they don't want, I don't know. I'm going to say something. But when you take that ball bit and you're just rubbing it against that client's skin, because they make them in all different sizes. Here's a little one. Here's a big one. All right. Teeny tiny. Big ball one. Okay. This one right here, I do see people sometimes take it underneath here on the sides just because you got callus there, which is okay. Which is okay, right? Teeny weeny. But never ever ever use this on the client's skin around the cuticle area for the purposes of grinding off their skin. Okay. Also, this does not go on the nail plate. What happens when you put a round bit like this on the nail plate like this?
I assume it's like digging.
It's digging a ditch. It's round. It's not flat like the rest of our bits. So when you put this here, and your intentions are most of the time to try to get that skin or whatever, the cuticle off of the nail. Well, you're getting the cuticle off the nail, but you're also digging a little circular ditch around the nail, which causes rings of fire. Y'all seen them before. Those lines that when you take your nails off and you can see every fill-in you've had or given someone. You took too much nail plate off and you caused that problem. So what are they actually for? What do they make these for besides cavities, drilling a hole? Because that's what they're really for. Okay, that's what they're technically for. I promise you, if you've ever had a cavity, your dentist took one of these little ball bits and dug a hole into your tooth to fill it.
I've seen it.
Right? But it was a carbide more than likely. Okay, which I have one somewhere.
Nail techs put those rings.
Yeah, when you're drilling a hole into the nail, that's what those are for. For drilling a hole in somebody's acrylic or gel nail. Or carving. How about when you're doing nail art? What about if you're trying to carve, like, y'all seen those unicorn horn nails where they carve like a little ditch in it and then they put chrome over it and it looks like a unicorn horn? Carving, you can carve shapes into the nail, but it's not for meant on the client's natural nail or the client's skin around the cuticle. Okay? You can use it on calluses. Okay, you might have a person with a bunion or something on their foot. You're trying to rub that thing down and get it smooth. But other than that, it's not meant for Russian manicures or for cleaning off the nail plate, cuticle off the nail plate. Okay, got it? Good. How do we clean these bits? The same way we clean anything else, right? We're going to first remove the debris, wash it with soap and water, right? Rinse off the soap and water. Then we're going to dry them, put them in disinfectant. I have at home, I didn't bring it because it's brand new, got brand new disinfectant in. I got a client tomorrow. A little container that has a little drainer on it. It's small for bits. And you just put it in there and sanitize it just like we do any other implement, okay? Take your implements out of it after how many minutes if it's barbicide? 10 minutes, right? Otherwise, they're going to rust, okay? Change colors on you, and then it'll still be clean, but it looks weird, okay? Now, what can we put our bits inside of an autoclave? Can you? It's metal, right? They're metals, they're stainless steel, right? Absolutely you can. If you have an autoclave, please do that. Just remember, if you went and you got the fancy schmancy rainbow ones, they're not going to be rainbow after a few times in the autoclave. They're going to be bow or rain without the bow. I don't know. They're not going to be rainbow, okay? They're going to be a different color. Keep that in mind. So, preferably, buy your bits all silver so you don't have to worry about that, okay? Now, let's demonstrate what we're going to be doing. First and foremost, okay, you see what she's doing right there with that bit? Okay, she's trying to file all that skin off. We don't want to do that. Now, if she had a callus somewhere on that nail, okay, who sent me that god awful? I was, oh my God, somebody sent it to me in my TikTok.
I think I did.
Did you send it to me? And I was like, oh, you're trying to get me in trouble.
Yeah, that was me.
This girl, she was taking the teeniest, tiny, something like that, with a tiny little pin tip on it. And was, if she wasn't up underneath that girl's first knuckle, I don't know how deep she was trying to go. But she was cleaning up under there, under that skin. I know that client was screaming. But why do we not want to take our bits? Because you will see this. Bits that just are going up underneath the PNF. Where are you now? What part of the nail are you disrupting? If you are under the PNF, what is the name of it? It's not the hyponychium. It's the... Come on, y'all. I just gave you half of it. Ichium.
Oh,
The eponychium, right? So... the eponychium, is it alive or is it dead? It's alive. So you are raking up underneath the cuticle area, and you're taking that cuticle bit, the tiny little, and you're skimming up. What are you disrupting? Living tissue. And that living tissue can get infected. You've got, especially if you're using dirty bits, and you're not using sanitized, disinfected bits. What is the point in going under there?
at this point you can lift it and look good.
Yeah, you literally can lift that PNF, that flap of skin, and look under there. And what happens when you leave the hood of your car up and just drive with it? Your stuff gonna get down in your engine. You gonna have problems. So let's just keep it real. There's no need for you to go under there. A lot of nail techs do that because they're like, oh, well, it keeps the client from having to come back and get their nails done more than ever. What's wrong with you? Don't you want them to come and see you every 2 weeks? I laugh if I used to be that way. I laugh at folks and they're like, my clients only got to come every 6 weeks, and your ass don't eat but every 6 weeks too. I like to eat every 2 weeks. I like to eat every day if I could, but every 2 weeks is when they should be coming. And that's proper maintenance. So now you extra starving over here, ain't ate in 6 weeks, and your client's nails now need more stuff on it, more work. You got to do more work, and you over here frail and weak because you ain't ate in 6 weeks. Got to do more work. It don't make sense. Make it make sense. That's all I'm saying. Make it make sense, please. Clients' maintenance is 2 to 3 weeks, okay? 4 weeks is pushing it. But you should have a client in your chair every 2 weeks, so that your client's nails are maintained. That's just, that's your job, right? Why do you want to see them less? My waxer is like, girl, you 2 days after 4 weeks, that's too much hair. I got to charge you more. Like, you see what I'm saying? Why are we not doing that? Why do we shortcut ourselves so much, us nail techs?
Can I ask you a question?
You can.
If a client comes in and their nail at this point is grown out, hanging on the edge,
New set.
and they want to soak off.
Do you look at her like you're looking at me right now?
Yeah, because it's like,
Then she should know what the answer to whatever her question is.
but how do you, like, even filing,
That-
cutting, drip, it's like too much, it's like
New set.
filing.
Period. And I'm gonna charge you for a soak off. Removal.
Right,
It's
but I'm saying, like, all that pressure even was trying to do the removal.
these
on
are the
edge.
people whose nails look like, you know what I'm about to say, when they don't have any on. Because they don't even care about their natural nails. They don't care about them. So what happens is you've got all this pressure. There's no acrylic back there. 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks have passed. So let me just put it on the screen so you can see what I'm saying. So your client's nails have grown out way to here, and they've got acrylic on the tip, and they haven't even cut the nail, right? The nail is still long. They
So it's
won't,
like-
so it's hanging. You could literally bend it,
Yeah.
right? So it more than likely is bending or is lifting. So that client probably has some damage right there where the nail is either split from side to side, or the nail is starting to lift away from the nail plate because they're now flimsy. They don't care about their nails, and they want you to care about it after they don't care. Like, you want me to fix something that's just way too far gone. At this point, I'm just going to cut it off, soak it off, charge you for every bit of that, and then do a new set. And then I'll see you in 6 more weeks when you come back and want me to do it all over again and charge you for it. Otherwise, what are you doing to it? What are you doing? You looking at them like that and then doing a
No,
fill
I
in?
soak it off. But
Yeah,
what I'm
because
saying is, even like cutting it down and then doing a soak off, it's like you get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's
you
like,
gotta do it though. I mean, and then you just teach them why they shouldn't be doing that. And they always gonna have an excuse, like, and this is the one that they're gonna give you. They're gonna say, well, you know, I couldn't afford it this week, or I couldn't afford it 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, because it's been 6 weeks. You know, I'm not your banker or your financial advisor, but I would tell them literally, like, you know, maybe you should try some other type of something that you can afford to maintain, because you're making me look bad, really. You're making I mean, at the end of the day, it's your work, right? And when people say, oh, I look, and they're going, oh, well, it's been 6 weeks, but, you know, Amari does my nails, and one of them's broke, 3 of them hanging off. She got a fungus growing under this one. You know, it's like, I mean, I guess people won't blame you, but I don't know. I when it comes to nails, I just don't deal with people like that. Let me just give it to you that way. I don't, because I fuss at them about it. I'm like, your nails are going to suffer from you not maintaining them. In every other industry, we have to pay for things like that. I don't care if it's a car. If you know you needed an oil change 20,000 miles, you go to them right there and they say, ma'am, you needed an oil change 6 times between this one. And you wonder why your head gaskets are blown? Sorry, we're going to have to charge you for replacing your transmission. What? I didn't know. You know. You knew you needed to fill in 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. So I'll let a client get away with that once, maybe twice, but after that, I eventually, and you can be nice about it, you just don't have any rooms on your books.
But in the end, she's paying more.
Yeah, they'll stop coming to you if you start charging appropriately, and you won't have to worry about it. And then what can they say to you? Oh, she charged me? Yeah. Everybody, my hair extensions, if I go more than every 4 weeks and it's grown out here, guess what she gonna do? I either gotta take it out, start from fresh, or she's gonna charge me for having to do extra work. Cause now my hair's all matted, she got to do all, I mean, come on now. It don't matter what industry, but we are always asking ourselves, oh, should I? Yes, you should.
The same thing with
Yes.
the eyelashes.
Lashes, I had to get a whole soak off and a new set yesterday. Why? Because I cheated on my nail tech and went somewhere else, and I didn't like them, and I had to take them off because she wasn't going to work over nobody else's work. Did I argue? Did I complain? I don't know, because I wanted my stuff to be right. But we let these people talk to us on the internet and in these groups. That's why you ain't going to see Miss Mary in none of them nail groups. Y'all need to get out of them. Because there ain't nothing but a bunch of unlicensed people that complain and people looking for, who can do this tomorrow for my prom for $5. Get out of them groups, y'all. Start hanging around people that can uplift you, not bring you down. Okay? I'm working on this in my personal life. I've always been the person that everybody is like, oh, you're so great, you're so great. Then I get around really, really, really great people, and I'm like, damn, I ain't shit. I need to start hanging around these people. Y'all need to stop hanging around these unlicensed people that ain't doing nothing but filling y'all head with a bunch of what ifs or should I. You know what you should do. When next time she comes in, tell her, I'm sorry, I ain't got enough time. I got another client that pays and comes every 2 weeks and tips me and brings me coffee and everything coming after you. I wish I would be late to do her nails. See ya, go somewhere else. And say it nice. Just like, and if it's me, I'm going to say it just like that. And y'all know it. I ain't got time. It's always going to be somebody that's willing to, that appreciates your time, your work, and wants and they care about their nails. Those are the clients I want.
Because I told her you need to soak off because she works at a warehouse and she super glues her nails back and wanted to fill, even though it was super glued. She was so upset.
Wrong nail tech.
Super glue. Then you do the soak off and it's like layers because of the super glue.
Right.
So I'm like, and you wanted me to fill that? That's insane.
I'm surprised she didn't have like broken nail under there, like from side to side, broken from. 9 times out of 10, when it lifts like that and they put glue under there, it's probably got a break from side to side. And then you really shouldn't be working on it anyway. She probably have a fungus growing under there because she glued the nail down. So.
She was like, oh, I said, so you're doing it. She said, no, sir. I said,
And that's exactly right. See, I like having those types of clients that when they break a nail, they call you. They're like, girl, I broke a nail. I can't walk around like this. What you talking about, super glue? First of all, she works, her nails are not suitable for her lifestyle. She shouldn't even be getting nails. I'm about to be riding motorcycles. Do you think I'm going to have nails on? I don't want to die because I didn't hit my brake fast enough because my extendos kept me from grabbing the brake. I figured that out first day. Not that I've had any nails on, but you got to wear gloves when you're riding a motorcycle because you dress for the fall, not for the fashion. You're going to wear gloves because the first thing you do when you hit the ground is what? You better have on some gloves, and I can't wear gloves when I got on even a 1/2 inch long fingernails. So guess what?
You're going to be natural girl.
Natural girl for a while, at least until I get it to where I can snatch that clutch and that brake at the same time. I don't want to die. So it's not that serious, but it's your career. It's their nails. You're doing things hopefully the right way. There's places where they will accommodate her. Is there not? There are places where she will be accommodated.
Right at Davy.
In Walmart. Yep, right there. All right. So we're almost there, y'all. Okay. So when you're holding an e-file, you want to hold it like a pen. All right. We're going to sit up straight. Don't be leaning on your table. Don't have your client's hand on the table and filing on the table. I hear y'all doing that with your mannequins all the time because it's going on the table. Okay. When you got an actual client, you can't do that. All right. Got your forearms on the table in your tripod position because you need to be nice, firm, and steady. You don't want that. You don't want to be whipping all over the place, you know, and your client, you lose grip of them and then you end up cutting them. Now, remember what our fulcrum finger is? That's our pinky finger. That's where we balance it. It could be your ring finger. Depending on if you got nails, it might be your nails. That you're resting something somewhere so that you can move that file without losing control. Okay? Now, start your e-file off slow. Don't turn it all the way up. And start because it might be in reverse and you didn't know it and then it whips around the client. Okay? Now we're going to practice this. This is one way that you can practice, y'all. And this is actually a picture of me from me doing this. What I ended up doing to teach students how to e-file to remove. This is what I did before we did the eggs. Okay, but I feel like the egg is a little bit even more harder to do. Okay, and because you guys need to learn how to file on a natural nail. This is acrylic removal. I would take a nail, glue it onto one of those sticks, polish it with red polish, cover it with clear acrylic. And then you guys will have to file until you got down to the red. And that taught y'all how to remove acrylic without, some folks are, because this happens on toenails a lot. When you're removing gel, you guys are removing the gel and you remove it all the way down to the nail, and this is why your clients don't have no toenails. And then they move to what? Acrylic toes, and then they ain't got no toenail, and then they kick something, and then they don't have no nail at all. Okay, so we're not gonna do that. We're gonna practice on the egg. Okay, but and we'll get to that in a second. But those are rings of fire. Okay, you can see the new growth, the old, where the acrylic was before and where they filed into the nail. If you start seeing this, and you'll know, you're not gonna know until you start doing removals and soak offs, and you know you're the one that did it. Okay, start laying up off that file a little bit. You're doing too much. Okay, all right. Maintenance, I've told you guys, that's every 2 to 3 weeks. 4 weeks is pushing it. 4 weeks is pushing it. I'm not going to get into 2-color Frenches and all that stuff. Do y'all know what buffing oils are? Okay, they make these oils that you can put, which I don't even know why you would use it now with gel polish, because you've got to clean the oil off of the nail completely or the gel won't stick. But back in the day, we used to use buffing oils. We put the buffing oil on the nail to make it really super smooth for regular polish to go on top. All right, you may see those out there. Okay, I don't recommend them, but they do enhance, for natural nails, do have a nice little bit of shine. None of y'all are out here doing actual natural nails only, are you? Nobody. Sometimes we have 1 or 2 students that are doing that. Okay, so we've talked about pedicuring files, all of that good stuff. Now, what about dust, y'all? When you're filing, it's not just acrylic dust that you guys are breathing in. Okay, it's nail dust, people's foot, toenail, fingernail dust. Okay, so we want to use a mask when you're e-filing. Today, you guys are going to be e-filing on egg shell. So that means you're going to be breathing egg shell. Please put on a mask. Okay, I bought some brand new cloth masks that can be washed and bleached and everything. You can grab one of those. They're brand new over there. We got some paper masks over there too. Okay, once those paper masks are gone, I'm not buying no more. But make sure when you're e-filing, you're wearing a mask. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot right now until you've been doing this for 20 years, and then you find out one day you got, lung cancer and you don't even smoke because you got a bunch of acrylic and gel down in there. All right. What happens if you're experiencing your nails don't have enough shine after you filed them and everything? They're still looking really rough. You probably need to do what? I always buff after. I use a buffer after every time I'm finished with my nail set, right? But depending on what you're doing, if it's natural nails, you may want to use a chamois bit or some type of super fine bit. What if you're having way too much heat on the nail? What do you need to do? You ever felt the heat? Y'all felt the heat when someone's filing on your nail? Why are you experiencing that heat?
You're not removing it.
You need to be going up and down off of the nail. Even an acrylic nail or a gel nail will feel heat on it, especially with sanding bands and metal bits. Okay. And I didn't show you guys the ceramic bits, but you guys know these white ones. What is it? Ceramic is basically glass, like a glass or like a pottery type of deal. Okay, they will break very easily, but they do not hold as much heat as metal bits. But they are carbide. They have the flutes and everything, just like any other metal bit, so they don't go on natural nails. So if you want to reduce heat, a carbide bit is a really good one to use. Okay. What about grabbing? What is that? When your bit is grabbing. Yeah, it's most of the time this occurs when it grabs around the skin, or it could be on top of the nail. You're either going way too fast or way too slow. Okay, it could be either one. But you want to either speed it up, all right, or you may want to hold it and bring it forward when you're doing your filing, all right. Use bits with rounded edges, and that's gonna keep you from having that problem as well.
Sometimes I was gonna say too that sometimes for grabbing, if you put in too much pressure on it, then it'll catch.
Yeah, it just
We're
skips.
not fast enough.
It's either not too much pressure. You
Okay,
just gotta get a feel of it. Okay, you just got anybody ever driven a car that is not automatic, a manual transmission? You gotta get used to kind of the feel of driving it. Same thing with an e-file. You're gonna get used to it. All right. Now, what is micro shattering? Tiny cracks happen in your acrylic with as they age and wear. They tend to get brittle. I think I made this distinction like when we were talking about gel, how acrylic gets old like the concrete out there. Gel doesn't do that. Okay. When it comes to acrylic, e-file is bouncing on the nail. It can cause a lot of cracks in the nail and stuff like that. Okay. So, all right. Y'all know not to do Russian manicures, right? Y'all know that, so we're not even going to get into that, all right? And then these things right here, these dust collectors, they're great to have. They can be very expensive, those, all right? Somebody just donated us one we got now. Not a Valentino, a dust collector. But if you want to use a dust collector, doesn't mean you don't use a mask, okay? Because remember, the dust, it's going down into the dust collector, but it's also blowing out of the sides. Okay, so especially you guys, you got your neighbor next to you, you know, wear mask, all right? Everybody got that? So we are done with this chapter, all right? So when you get ready to do your worksheet, everything that I just went over is in the you got printed out. It's exactly what's in that book that's in front of you, okay? So you got your notes. You also have the theory that's inside the book. The presentation will also be there in case you want to refer to that. But that worksheet that we will release today at 3 o'clock, it will release. You can get started on it now. It will be due on, as well as the final exam, will be due on Thursday night by midnight, okay? And that's even for the Saturday folks. They got to do it by Thursday night at midnight too. Because I would have 2 different classes, but y'all come on whatever day you feel like it. So, got it? All right, so we're going to do the demonstration now with the eggs to show you guys what you're going to be doing. So, these eggs, hopefully they're not cold and got a little moist. Yeah, because when they're cold and they get warm, they get a little wet. All right, so what I usually have you guys do, you're going to get a marker, which Shayla will get y'all the markers. They're on the counter over there, okay? You're going to pick an e-file, and we've got a bunch of these little ones. I've got 3 of these. We've got a bunch of them that's fully charged back there. Okay, you guys are going to get you a sanding band bit. Okay, we've got mandrels back there. Okay, you may want to take a couple of markers because sometimes change color. All right, but I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm going to do first. Okay, I'll just grab one of these for now. This egg, what do you think it symbolizes? The natural nail plate. Because what you guys are going to, you see we had a client, I didn't even know he was coming. He just booked that thing on the website. You guys are all bookable. All they got to do is go to our website and just book a student, and whoever's available will do it, okay? The only things that I have available for people to get done right now is manicures, basic manicures, gel manicures, because you all, have had the gel training or the gel chapter, okay? And then pedicures, all right? Acrylic nails and stuff like that. We'll open that up shortly. But you will have clients that come in here that want to get their nails done, and they may need a removal before we work on it because we don't work over other people's work in here. But the main thing is the gel manicures or doing manicures. And if you want to use an e-file, which hopefully you guys will, you're going to need to practice removing gel off of people's toes and removing gel off of people's nails and so on and so forth. So how many times should you be able to remove gel off of someone's fingernails before their nails are thin? This is a trick question.
As many times as
You should be able to do it 100 times, okay? Because you have this training. You should be able to do it, remove the polish without cracking this egg, which is the nail plate, okay? So, nobody in here, because some of y'all be cheating, but nobody in here can remove this off of this nail plate without this eventually cracking. Okay, but I want to see how many times you can do it. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take a marker and you're going to do a healthy size square, like a toenail size square. Okay, that's a big ass toenail, ain't it? They're going to come in here and you're going to draw. This symbolizes your polish, right? Now the first time you do this, the very first time, it's going to be, I don't want you to remove every single bit of it, right? Because if you do, that means that you've also removed nail plate. Okay? Damn. Double-sided. Okay. So, I've got my toenail. Okay? This is really to prove a point. Not really to see who can remove the most or whatever. This is to prove a point. That let's think about it real quick. You get your toenails done, okay? You get gel on your toes. You get this done in the summer. Hopefully you guys are getting your toes done. It's not just a summertime thing, right? There's no such thing as pedicure season. All right? Pedicure season is all year long. If you've got a client that thinks that way, or if I've got a client that thinks that way, I'm sending her to you. Okay? Because I don't want to do them for you. All year long. So we're going to take a mandrel and a sanding band. Okay, now I've got these little ones up here. You guys are going to have the regular size ones, I think. But I do have some more. I do have a couple of these if anybody wants to try the little ones. So I'm going to take the fine ones here. These are brand new. And you guys, I have those blue ones, I think, up there. And they should be either medium or fine. But this is going to show you guys that whatever you think you're doing it, and you're good, because it's what I hear. Oh, I don't touch the natural nail plate. Okay. So if your client is getting their nails done, let's just say once every 3 weeks. That's once a month, right? Toenails, if they're coming in. But in the summertime, they want to come every 2 weeks and change their polish, right? So we'll say anywhere from 12 times to 20 times a year. They're getting their toenails with gel and getting the gel removed with an e-file, okay? So I'm going to turn this e-file on, and I'm going to turn it on really low. This is on 5 right now, but let's put it on like 1, okay? So I'm going to take this e-file. This is a fine bit. It's the green ones. It's fine. So, and I'm not sure if I'm in forward or reverse, but we're about to see because it'll go skip on me. You hear that? So what I'm doing, you see I'm going up and down. This is a fine one. I'm trying to remove all this polish, and I'm going very slow at a 1. And I want to remove that blue completely. Y'all take your time with this. You're going to get all your gel grades today. E-file grades today. That's 10 of them. That's 10 hours worth of stuff in one day. Just by doing this, I want you guys to do it as many times as you can till your egg crack. Okay? And I want you to keep count of how many times you did it. Because whoever does it the most, and don't cheat, y'all. Some of y'all, I did it 35 times. No, you didn't.
Did you?
We're going to rewind that tape. Let me see. We got cameras in here. I'm going to check you. Okay. But take your time, because if you crack your egg, now this is what usually happens. One of y'all drop the damn egg. Then you disqualified, because I ain't got no more eggs. Okay. And eggs are expensive. Okay. You're going to remove as much as you can. Okay. And this is about what I want you to do. Don't try to make it white, because if you make it white, what do I know you did? You down at the nail plate. Because you got to remember, this egg is bumpy. It's got a few bumps in there. After you do this about 3 times, the bumps are going to be gone. That's just normal, okay? So that I have removed the polish, okay? So now that's 1. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it again. Remove it. Keep track, okay? Take your time. If you don't take your time, you're going to boop, boop, and crack the egg. If you crack the egg, you're disqualified. Just go home for the day. You're done. Go home and work on your worksheet, okay? Because this worksheet is just as long, if not longer, than the other one, okay? And this one also has paragraph of not fill in the blank questions, but also case studies where you got to tell me some stuff, right? Paragraph and stuff, okay? So don't wait till the last minute to do this. Y'all, please do better on this one, please. Okay, make sure you're spelling the stuff right. All right, capital. I tried to make it easy where if you did put a capital letter where it should have been a small letter, but y'all remember from English, you know, if it's at the beginning of the sentence, it has a capital letter. If it's in the middle of the sentence, it is a lowercase. But I did try to help y'all out by making it so if you accidentally put a capital, it's still going to give you credit. But remember, I still got to go in and grade these, and so you may get a better grade. So do y'all understand what you're doing? Okay, so everybody should have a marker. Everybody should have an e-file. Does everybody have a mandrel and sanding bands?
I need the mandrel because they only had
We
like
got
2 or 3
our-
in the thing.
Okay, well, I got a ton of mandrels, but they're sanding bands, right?
Yeah.
We got enough eggs, so I got a ton of mandrels. They
Yeah.
can all have. And then I've got a couple of these little ones if y'all anybody wanna use one of these with a fine bit. Here's a mandrel. I got one. How many do we need? I got 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I got 1, 2, 3,
What?
4.
I'm gonna give
We
you
got
everything
look, we
you
got
need,
files
baby.
all over here.
Don't
We
worry.
ain't quite started all the way yet. We gotta pass out eggs carefully.
Oh, it's some over here
We
too.
gotta carefully pass. Okay, well here's. Okay. All right, so we're gonna pass out. Any questions, y'all? What you need? Oh, we need. Oh, marker. Where'd the marker basket go? Oh, okay. All right. Any other questions that we need to answer over here? Let me see. Let's see. This was very helpful. Awesome. I'm glad you guys found it helpful. Thank you. I also need to learn how to use mine correctly. Hopefully you got that. Good morning, Yesenia. Good morning, Yesenia. Well, it's afternoon now, child. You know, I got to stop talking so much. All right, so we're going to end this live. Thank y'all so much for watching.